into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh, good morning, you beautiful souls. Welcome to it. I really hope that you are sitting in bed right now, that you haven't even gotten up yet. A very good morning. Welcome to it. It's your feel-good kickstart or to a new day, yes, and a new week, but hopefully the extension of a long weekend. Happy Women's Day. A very warm welcome from myself, Graham Richardson, and the rest of the Expresso team. Obviously, this morning we are hopefully going to be able to give as many ladies off as possible. We've certainly given our team a bit of a break here, but we will be connecting with inspiring women throughout the morning. Group fitness instructor and trainer Carly Swartz, she's going to join us for what is titled the No Flabby Arm Fitness Workout. His arms aren't that flabby, but he's ready to do it. Raul will be kicking that off in just a moment. Then Miss World 2014 and Miss SA 2014, Rolene Strauss and her husband, Daniel Strauss, they're going to pay our studio a little visit to leave us feeling hopefully inspired and confident with their Breakthrough Intensive seminar. And I think today, yes, is about recognizing the amazing South African women that have carried us this far, but it's also about creating that platform so that young women are taken care of and have the opportunity to do the most in their future. So hopefully we'll be an inspired show this morning. I know someone who else is feeling as inspired as me to connect with you today as the boys run the show just for this morning. Mr. Raul, good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, you beautiful souls, and of course, one special good morning to all the ladies out there, you women of Mzansi and the rest that are watching the show today. This one is for you. You celebrate, and we get to celebrate with you, of course, celebrating all the women, all the inspiration. And that's what's the question on social media this morning. In light of the conversation we're having, we're talking about the inspirational women in our lives, and we're asking you, what is your message to the country this Women's Day? My message specifically to every woman out there has got to be the fact that you are enough, you are beautiful, you are strong, and you inspire. And for me, I want to say thank you for that. Continue to be the woman that you are, continue to inspire, and take the day off and come celebrate with us. And we're going to start that all up, but just up. Before we get into all the magic, of course, all the superstars that are coming to the show, we're going to find out what's happening in the news with G.
Thank you so much, Raul. Let's start here in South Africa. Award-winning struggle veteran and women's rights activist Sophie de Bruyn yesterday visited the graves of fellow activists and struggle veterans in Johannesburg with delegates from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. They paid tribute to Helen Joseph, Lillian Ngoyi, Rahima Musa and Albertina Sisulu as part of Women's Day celebrations today. De Bruyn said these women who revolted against the then passed laws in 1956 must always be remembered for their sacrifices for women's liberation in South Africa. And she praised women for their resilience and reminded them that the threats against them have now multiplied. Then, as the country marks 500 days since the start of the lockdown, more than 3.5 million South Africans have been fully vaccinated. This as health authorities are currently dealing with over 158,000 active cases. The Western, Northern and Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal continue to see a rise in new infections. The Western Cape is the current epicenter of the COVID-19 third wave, with some 38,000 active cases. However, the nation's mass vaccination drive continues to gain momentum, with millions of vaccination doses having arrived now in the country. Now, casting a slightly wider gaze on the international front and just across our borders, police in Zimbabwe are investigating the death of a 14-year-old girl during childbirth, an event that has sparked widespread outrage amongst citizens and rights activists. Memory Machaya died at a church shrine in the eastern region of Marange. The case has exposed the exploitation of minors, as she was reportedly forced to abandon school to marry. The United Nations has urged the government to recognize child marriage as a crime and end the practice. It said it condemns strongly reports into the circumstances surrounding Memory's death as well. Then the president of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, yesterday officially concluded the 2020 Games in Japan with the extinguishing of the Olympic flame. The Olympic flag was also handed over to the mayor of Paris, where the next Games will be held in 2024. A footage of a performance of life after COVID-19 in Tokyo and Paris with people and athletes without social distancing and masks was shown as part of that closing ceremony. For South Africa, Tokyo 2020 was a great disappointment as Team SA could only bring home 1 gold and 2 silver medals. We'll delve a little deeper into our performance in just a moment, so stick around for that. Right now, though, a plea that inmates and parolees be afforded a second chance. Now, inmates and parolees should be afforded a second chance to show that they are reformed and could contribute to building better communities. So spoke Deputy Minister Nkosi Patekile Chlomisa after the Department of Correctional Services gifted 20 wheelchairs made by prisoners. And that was to learners at the Lukusa Special School in Mthatha on Friday. He said that this was a clear demonstration of offenders showing remorse for their actions. And the department initiates various community projects, especially at schools, by utilizing the skills of offenders. This includes cleaning of schools and public infrastructure, the refurbishing of school desks, improving sporting infrastructure, and creating vegetable gardens at schools. And most of the skills which offenders apply in these projects are obtained through training in correctional center workshops. And the department said it hoped the projects would eventually lead to the successful reintegration of released inmates into society. Well, on that very positive note, we round off our news headlines. Let's get into our very celebratory sporting lineup. He's done it again. Let's start with international rugby. A match-winning penalty goal 2 minutes from time by Mornay Steyn sealed the Lions series win for the Springboks over the British and Irish Lions in a nail-biting fixture on Saturday. The Boks wrapped up the series 2-1 after winning the third and final fixture in 1916 at the Cape Town Stadium. A 57th minute try by Cheslin Colby and successful kicks by Andre Pollard and then veteran Mornay Steyn securing the series victory for South Africa. So the Springboks will be in action again this weekend when the Rugby Championship, of course, kicks off. Then staying with franchise rugby, 3 second-half tries in quick succession saw the Sharks record a very impressive 35-28 victory over the Bulls in the Currie Cup on Saturday. So the win now takes the KwaZulu Italians to the top of the table on 30 points. Now the results from the weekend, the Lions beat the Northern Cape rivals, the Griquas 45-42 in Kimberley. And then in Western Province, they staged a pretty stunning second-half fight back to claim a crucial 40-39 win over the Cheetahs down in Cape Town. That Currie Cup action will continue again this coming Wednesday. Then back to international rugby. New Zealand extended their unbeaten run at Eden Park in Auckland to 45 tests. That was after beating Australia 33-25 in their Bledisloe Cup opener. Fly-off Richie Mo'unga starred on the night was very much the difference, contributing 18 points from a 70-metre intercept try, along with 2 conversions and 3 penalties. The All Blacks can seal the Bledisloe Cup on the 19th for a 19th successive year with victory at the same venue, and that's next weekend. This clash will also double as the Rugby Championship opener. And then on to motorsport, to Ducati Pramax, Jorge Martin, he claimed his maiden race win in a red-flagged Styrian Grand Prix in Spielberg yesterday. Now, the race at the Red Bull Ring came to a halt just 2 laps into it when the bikes of Spaniard Dani Pedrosa and Italian Lorenzo Savadori caught fire. The race restarted with Martin claiming his first win in the Premier class ahead of Spanish compatriot and reigning champion Joan Mir and championship leader at the moment, Fabio Quartararo. South Africa's Brad Binder finished just outside the podium positions, really credible 4th place from 16th position on the grid. We'll touch on more of our sporting highlights in the first hour of the show. Stick around for that right now. Let's take a look at the weather.
Thank you so much, G. Now, to start off with the weather, we're going all the way to the United States with some good news. Well, some pertinent news, actually. The monstrous Dixie Fire in Northern California continued to grow overnight, making it the 2nd largest wildfire in the state's history as thousands of people continue to flee advancing flames. Now, it covers an area larger than Los Angeles and roughly the size of the Hawaiian island of Maui. And the blaze incinerated much of the town of Greenville, destroying 370 homes and structures and threatening some 14,000 buildings in the northern Sierra Nevada. Now, it had engulfed an area larger than the size of New York City. And meanwhile, in Greece, hundreds more people have been forced to flee their homes as firefighters continue struggling to contain huge day-old fires and wildfires. Now, tourists and some 2,000 locals were evacuated by boat from Evia, the country's second largest island, yesterday. While the fire on Evia is the most severe, dozens of smaller blazes are raging around the country. Now, in Bailey's Harbour, it's one of the best kept secrets when it comes to vacation spots. This location offers experiences filled with exploration, adventure, and nature, as well as sandy beaches which give way to the mighty waters of Lake Michigan, which is ideal for catching air on a kiteboard, reeling in salmon or trout, or discovering shipwrecks and the rocky shoals that claim them. Now, moving to some local news and weather, it's a new week, which means we have a fresh week of sunrise photos to share with you all. And kicking us off this morning is Alan Rudnicki from Cape Town, who captured this fantastic view of Table Mountain from Blouberg Beach. Now, what an absolutely beautiful view of one of Cape Town's most distinctive sites. And Gavin, what you can expect from Durban, also who shared this red-hued image overlooking the city, and our viewers are really, truly stepping up their photography game, and just please keep them coming and continue to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page, because we absolutely love seeing how you start off your day. Now, to take a look at some of the temperatures for the day. Starting off in Polokwane, we've got a low of 8 and a high of 28. Mbombela starting off on 13, moving over to a high of 37. Pretoria starting off on 10 and then moving to a high of 26. Johannesburg starting on 7, moving all the way up to 24. Mahikeng, very similar, starting with a low of 5 and a high of 27. Klerksdorp, a low of 2, moving all the way up to 25 degrees. Kimberley, a chilly 0 to start your day and then moving up to 17 degrees. Bloemfontein, -2 to start your day, but then moving up to 20 degrees with no clouds expected. And then Richards Bay, a low of 14 and a high of 25, with 25% chance of rain coming through there. Pietermaritzburg, a low of 9 and a high of 26. Durban, 14 to start your day off, moving all the way over to 23 degrees. Mthatha, a chilly 1 degree to start, moving all the way to 21 degrees. East London, your range will be from 10 degrees to 18 for the day. Cradock, starting with the chilliest of the day with a -3 degrees Celsius, and then moving all the way to 15 degrees with 25% chance of rain coming through. We've got Cradock with, just mentioned Cradock with -3. We've got Gqeberha with an 8 low and a 16 high with 71% chance of rain coming through. George, a low of 5 and a high of 13 with a lot of rain, 84% potential coming through there. Cape Town, a low of 6 and a high of 15 degrees. Looks like most of the rain is cleared with 2% chance only coming through today. Worcester, a chilly 1 degree to start and a high of 12. Sutherland, a low of 4 and a high of 8. And last but not least, we've got Uppington with a low of 3, moving all the way up to 16 degrees. Now, that's a roundup of our weather for this morning. We've got so much magic coming in the show. Speaking of magic, let's find out more about that right now.
Magic indeed, my friend. It might be a bit of a cheesy cliche, but it rings true. Sisters are doing it for themselves. We are celebrating the fortitude and sisterhood seen in the fight for women's liberation here in South Africa, and equality, most importantly, on this Women's Day. We're not quite there yet, but we have seen amazing achievements in our country. Wondrous things happen when women come together to uplift each other and smash those glass ceilings. And superstar tennis champion Serena Williams put it best when she said this: every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We are strongest when we cheer each other on. Look to your sister, give her the platform and cheer her on. Not just today being Women's Day, but every single day. You need to be that strength for each other. So we are celebrating Women's Day on your Feel Good breakfast show this morning. We're going to be chatting to inspirational women throughout the show, so please stick around. We'll see you in a moment.
Only you can make my day.
I just wanted to ask, I didn't hear what up.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we continue to celebrate Women's Day, and what a celebratory note was added to this weekend with a brilliant performance by one of our national teams. Now a 78th minute penalty by the legend. He is now a living legend. Officially, Morné Steyn secured in the end a very memorable and hard-fought 1960 victory for the Springboks over the British and Irish Lions to seal the Lions series down at Cape Town Stadium. The Sharks, they made their way to the top of the Currie Cup table. It was after beating defending champions, the Bulls, in Durban. They looked amazing, and then the All Blacks extended their unbeaten run at Eden Park when they beat the Wallabies in the Bledisloe Cup. But they didn't look all that convincing when they did it. Round Morné is going to be chatting through what was one of the best nights of rugby we've seen, well, let's be honest, since the World Cup final.
Oh, but what a feeling, gee. Eh?
You know, so much was said going into this fixture about the Boks' lack of game time, the fact that the last time they played had been the Rugby World Cup final or our World
Almost
Cup
a year
campaign.
ago, yeah.
There was going to be rust. There were, I mean, kudos to the local franchises and those international franchises that played our players back into form, but I think it almost worked in the reverse. I think the structures were still in place from the World Cup. I think the mindset was still there, the attitude was certainly still there, the self-belief. So when these guys went out, they played with that same mindset that they did during the World Cup, and it showed, and they had to fight for it,
They had to fight for that. Gee, one thing I absolutely love from the series is from the start, when you look at the first strategy that we had with the revolution of more than 3 different type of teams, moving all the way to this final where literally the gusto had to be there. Everybody, when called, was stepping up in
Yeah,
this
the
game, and you
replacements
could
were
see
almost
it.
as important as the starting lineup.
And crucial replacements. I mean, we're mentioning the man now himself that came on for Andre Pollard.
All the change, the Morné Steyn.
What a power change indeed.
Absolutely phenomenal. There were a couple of key moments. I thought Finn Russell was superb from a British and Irish Lions perspective. Actually changed the game completely for them. And I think that's what led to my nerves. It just felt like, once again, we were gambling under the high ball. They seemed to be kind of, you know, looking really good in that space, but we brought the physicality in that second half. Our prowess in the scrums. When Trevor Nyakane got that scrum penalty, I think I just put my baby to sleep upstairs. I almost burst both eyeballs and a blood vessel in my head, just screaming without making sound.
It was such a powerful moment, and I think, again, it just encapsulates, not to get too symbolic, but everything that this country's been going through. We need these moments, and you could feel in that scrum down, you could feel those tight heads, loose heads, it doesn't matter what, everybody was on board and they were giving 150% because they knew how much that mattered, G.
Completely.
The blood was left on the field. You could see the
blood, sweat and tears. And there was, of course, one player who we've had to rely on so many times for these kind of crunch moments, who stepped up in a defining moment. Take a look at this.
Lost forward by the Lions, but advantage to the Springboks. LaRue with Colby to his outside. Williams to beat, he gets away from him, and Cheslin Colby has produced an individual moment of magic.
Well, Cheslin Colby is the best player in the world.
I must say to you, what a moment for me seeing the ball and seeing Cheslin Colby on the line. It's almost like you know it's coming. Give it to him, send it, feed it. And he gets the ball. Man, what a moment.
And I'm glad that he was recognised as player of... Just the fact that we were getting the ball out wide is great. Yeah. The fact that there were so many injury changes forced onto the field that the guys, Franco Mostert was titanic, stepping up there into a position that didn't necessarily... You know, the fact that we can move our players around to that degree, that it means the structures are there. They know how we need to play. And as the British and Irish Lions pointed out, everyone knows how the Boks are going to play. It's another thing beating them when they play like that. Yeah. And they did it, and take nothing away from Andre Pollard, who was brilliant before Morné Steyn come on, but I mean, ultimately, you've got to have the guts and the fortitude to step up and be able to score 2 penalties under pressure like that. Morné Steyn, take your bow, man.
Pressure was anything that was that moment, and the man stepped up and did it. He did it for our country, and I'm just grateful for it, man. Thank you to everybody that played a part in the series. I think the gusto from the lads, the supporting staff, the coaching staff, I think everybody had to jump on board to make this happen. Not an easy feat at all.
And as always, you've got to reinforce it with Sia's performance, not only as a captain and how he leads, but his own actual performance on the day in critical moments.
Stepping
Just
up. I saw one
brilliant.
massive turnover in one of the malls on the breakdown, which just again encapsulates what that man can do and what he is doing for this country. Never mind the team.
We love you, man. We love you, dude. We love you. Then, of course, just quickly flying through the results in the Currie Cup. The Griquas pulling off an incredible win, 45-42 over the Lions. That was a bit of an upset and a surprise. The Lions must be thinking, what do they have to do to win a match in the Currie Cup? The Sharks looked so impressive, fighting back 35-28 to leapfrog the Bulls to the top of the log as well. And then Western Province just edging out the Cheetahs, just 40-39. Brilliant performance. And then, as we said, in the Bledisloe Cup getting underway with yet another win for New Zealand. Didn't look too strong. I think a number of missed kicks might have turned this game in a completely different light, but New Zealand winning 33-25 over Australia. And of course, next weekend we get to do it all over again as the Rugby Championship kicks off. Rugby here to stay.
We're chatting more sport after this, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, gents. Yes, more sporting action coming your way. Good morning. Now, sports star Naomi Osaka said this. She said, I don't think you can win a Grand Slam and not be confident in yourself. And the same applies to cooking a winning dish.
Made with love by Clover.
Now, whether you're looking for a side dish or a quick Monday meal, our fresh milk mushroom tart will do just the trick for you. It's the earthy mushrooms that really do sing with the cheese and thyme combination. And of course, an incredible woman after our own hearts. Jenny Morris is here in the kitchen to show us how it's done. Jenny, so good to see you reunited, and it feels so good. Ah, how are you?
I'm good, my darling. You know what smells so good?
It smells so good. Well, you're not wasting any time this
No,
morning.
no,
I mean,
no.
it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet, and Jenny is already just going all the way.
Oh, yes, I'm a girl that goes all the way in the kitchen, let me tell you. And I've got my mushrooms in here, the beautiful, thick, meaty
They're so
mushrooms.
thick.
I love thick.
They look beautiful.
But they have a high water content, so they are going to shrink a little bit and give me some of that gorgeous umami in the pan. Look at my onions with the butter. While you were chatting, could you smell
were
that
getting
beautiful
it
clover
together.
butter? Oh,
I
yes.
love that. And the thing with mushrooms, though, Jenny, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that it's very easy to get them wrong. It's really easy to let the meal go south.
You know why? Because people overcook them and they collapse too much. You want to keep them like this because this is going to go into the oven and it's going to cook again.
I love it.
And speaking about going into the oven, darling.
And then cooking again, darling.
Yes, and we're doing the tart and you're part of that tart.
Cool.
So I want a whole cup of this gorgeous clover milk that lasts forever. Amen, in the fridge in that lovely blue bottle. I love that blue bottle because you can go on the shelf and just pick it off.
You can't miss it?
You can't miss it,
So that's
darling.
250 mils
Not
of
in
milk.
there.
Where does it go?
Well, darling, it's going to go into here.
Oh,
You
into
see,
there.
it's so long since we've worked
I
together.
knew I should have asked you
were looking
up
at
front.
me.
I should have asked you up front. Well, listen, with Clover Fresh Milk, you get superior quality with every litre and every cup. That'll give you and your family nothing but the best. And Clover Fresh Milk stays fresh for up to 18 days, Jenny.
I love it.
This blue bottle in your fridge or wherever, really, will stay fresh for up to 18 days thanks to that Triple Protect, which is an incredible technology. And you do get all the goodness and nutrition from Clover Fresh Milk. And in this recipe, you can add in more of the milk to the recipe. Like, you know, get the peppers in as well, or a meaty addition with bacon bits. It's really up to you. I mean, imagine that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So am I just mixing the milk?
You're going to give them a
and
good,
eggs together?
break the egg up nicely, love, so that we have this beautiful yellow. We don't want any white bits. It must be properly, so you can hit it as hard as you like, sweetheart.
So
Let's
I'm
go.
bashing
Beat
this
it,
one.
beat
Bash,
it,
bash,
beat
bash
it,
the
beat it.
eggs into the milk. Love it. Okay.
Now look at my mushies. They're looking absolutely gorgeous and
smelling
glorious. And my tomatoes. We're going to serve this tart topped with some beautiful roasted tomatoes, salt, pepper, some olive oil, and just pop it into the oven. We're going to cook them till they look like this. They're going to be like me, all wrinkly, juicy, and delicious.
I don't see any wrinkles there, Jenny. These tomatoes look nothing like you. I'm sorry.
Well, they could taste like me. They're rather delicious.
Oh, yes. That yumptious is definitely ingredients are going to come through there. But listen, if you want the recipe, we've made this very easy for you. Go onto our website. It's expressoshow.com. On there, you will find the recipe. It's there, but all the ingredients you're going to need are also listed there, as well as how to bring it all together. That looks so good.
Together, you're going to give me my pre-baked tart base. We just
Okay.
use puff pastry. You know what? You're allowed. You're
you
allowed
can.
to
You
use
can.
something pre-made. And we're going to just, oh, this smells glorious. Look at this. We're going to just pile them into here. You're going to give me that gorgeous
Yes, queen.
milky custard.
go. There
and
you go.
I'm
That's
going
for
to
you.
pour it in, and we're going to top it with gorgeous grated cheese. You can put some cheese on top. Give me a
Imagine if
little
you had
bit.
those bacon bits, hey?
Absolutely.
Ah.
Pass me my clover cheese,
Then
darling.
you've got
Look
your
here, we're going to
cheese
just put a
there.
little bit here, and then I'm going to put some more
Or
on
you can
top.
be generous with the cheese. Come on.
Oh,
come on.
No,
you
no,
can
darling,
really go
no, it's
all
going
the
to get
way.
its jacket. No. I just like a double whammy. Look at that.
So do I. So we were just speaking earlier on, Jenny and I, about it being Women's Month.
Yes.
You were given a day, and
we
the women
took a
decided
month.
to take the whole month. This is the perfect meal, really, for all those women, special women in your life, to, I suppose, treat them on any given day, right?
Oh, yes. And I'm going to treat you now on this Women's Day, because what am I doing? I'm giving you a piece of tart. So.
Yeah, and I'm every woman. It's all in me. Right?
Oh. Are we going to have a duet? We could
Look
sing that
at
too.
That. Jenny, it looks so good. A fork, please. Yes.
Yes.
We've got to try this. Give it a taste.
Just, can you just smell that garlic coming through? It's not too much. It's just enough. Look at that,
Oh,
baby.
look at that. Oof. It's rich. It's rich in
It's
every
divine,
sense of
the word.
In fact, listen, if you missed any of the steps involved in bringing this recipe together, we've prepared a nice little recap for you. So while we taste this, you watch that.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso. I don't know why I went, welcome back. I try to be a bit more positive. It is Women's Day, so we are celebrating the phenomenal South African women that have made this country just amazing and are continuing to fight every day. We cannot tell you how much we love and appreciate you, not just today, but every single day. But lest we forget, we've got to chew on the Olympics for just a moment. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics officially came to an end yesterday, with South Africa walking away with 3 medals. Thanks to the likes of our golden girl, Tatiana Schoenmaker, who was superb, a silver and a gold. And then, of course, our silver surfer, Bianca Buitendag, who we actually chatted to shortly after her amazing achievements out in the Olympic waves. And, of course, we're looking forward to the Paralympics kicking off. But we thought we'd just take stock of, unfortunately, normally we'd be going through a long list of performances, only 3 medals. And you've got to think, after sending over 100 athletes to the Games, many of them struggling to get there because they just aren't being funded. Has this been a successful Olympics? Definitely not.
In many respects not, but I think still, G, it shows you some of what we as a country are going through, and it's a good reflection of that. I mean, I put myself in these shoes, being an athlete myself. It takes so much just to get to the event. I think for a lot of the athletes in South Africa, it must have been this case of we've worked and had to get through so much just to get here that we might have emptied our tank in the process. And now we still got to deal with one of the biggest events on the global stage, which happens after every 4 years. That's a tough ask. And you're seeing these discrepancies in the likes of our systems that have been implicated and have been impacted because of something like the pandemic.
So many of our athletes, the challenge just to get there. You know, we speak about our men's national hockey team, able to clearly beat the best in the world. They got, you know, everyone's calling it a shock win over Germany, but they targeted that team for a win, and they achieved that. They drew against Canada. They were really, really competitive and could have been a medal hopeful. They had to go to a crowdfunding option to get themselves through the games.
Are still, half the time, they're still performing their normal day-to-day jobs, trying to hustle in the training, whereas they're competing with internationals that do this for a living. They have international leagues in hockey in Europe that pay you salaries. Our guys are trying to hustle their daytime jobs and then play a game and then fundraise to get to something like the Olympics. I mean, it's
finishing
crazy.
a law degree while you know. So to put it in perspective, of course, America were the dominant team at the Olympics this year, and by quite a number. So let's put it in perspective here. A total of 626 athletes. 600, nearly 1,000 athletes went to compete for the US. They clinched 39 gold medals, 41 silver and 33 bronze. That's 113 medals across 28 different sports. 257 members of their entire team won. And nice, on Women's Day, 164 of them were women, 93 men.
Wow.
I would, and I'd often joke about this, but it really isn't a joke. I reckon one varsity team in the US probably has a bigger budget than our entire Olympic budget put together.
100%, you can't argue with that. And I mean, look at the numbers here. You're talking about over 100 athletes that competed for South Africa versus over 100 medals that were earned. You know what I mean? The ratio is completely out, but again, it just shows you, for me, the infrastructure going into Olympic Games like this. We were speaking about it earlier. Look at the results when it comes to the nations that are winning most of the medal tallies. It kind of gives you a good depiction of how they've dealt with the last year and a half.
They've moved through the zone that we are still very much in. And look, a lot of pressure individually on these athletes to get their training done, I think, under extreme circumstances, just to be at a point to be able to perform. I think my greatest disappointment from this Games, not so much those athletes that were there on a wing and a prayer, but those that went there with a mission. Akani Simbine. This was his year, and he was brilliant. I mean, it's not like he ran a bad race. He was superb throughout. You often wonder if he maybe gassed out just a little too much, if he was pushed too hard by Sue in that semi-final. But out of all of the athletes that I expected to really rock this year's Games, he was one that I feel must be coming back with a whole.
Yeah, gee, I mean, I followed him so religiously all the way through to the build-up. And for me, he was a medal contender. Running in the Diamond League, he was running sub-10 races confidently and comfortably. His start in particular was something that was so good, but The Olympics is one day, one moment, one event, and it's got to
Every
come
4
together or
years.
it doesn't. So he has the potential to be a gold medal Olympian. It didn't happen on the day. He didn't have one of his greatest starts, but I mean, kudos to him nonetheless. Doing something for South African sprinting right now when we all need it. I think it's so important nonetheless, yeah.
Nah, he's more than put us on the map, but we are still undoubtedly proud of Team South Africa because we know what it took to get our athletes there, and they put in a showing. We can't wait to see Team South Africa back in action at the Paralympic Games, and of course we wish all of our athletes all of the best in Tokyo.
Yeah, gee, I'm doing
Are you
something
ready,
special.
buddy?
It's Women's Day, of course, so we're celebrating, and I've handed the duties over to one strong, special woman. I'm going to go get my fitness on, so I'll leave you over here on the couch.
Break it, go.
Oh, yes, we promised, and I am a little bit nervous. That breath was legitimate, okay, because I've worked out with this lady. She does not play games. The last time I was standing over here, I was completely out of breath. All right, but today she's promised to do something a little bit easier that everybody can join in on. So, being National Women's Day, we want all our women to know that they are strong, and we're going to celebrate it every day. But one of the ways to do this is through fitness, right? And that makes you look and feel good. So now, one of the body parts that women absolutely love to work on is the arms, and they're considered a big problem area for women too. So to successfully reduce arm fat and get strong and sculpted guns, you need to target 3 key muscle groups, right? That's the tricep, the one on the back of the arm, you got the bicep, and then the deltoids, all right? That makes up the most part of the arm, right? So this morning, group fitness instructor and trainer Carly Schwartz is here. She's compiled some of her favorite exercises for an easy and effective arm workout for women and everybody else at home. Zanzi, come join in and let us welcome this beautiful soul. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing awesome.
You're
How are
looking
you
good.
doing?
You're embodying the
Thank
powerful,
you
strong
so
woman
much.
that
I
we
wish
all
I was showing off my arms today, but I'm
What do you
actually
mean?
not.
They're busting out of
Can
that
you
thing.
see it?
Come on. So what have you got for us?
Okay,
This
so we
is
obviously
exciting
are
stuff.
doing
Yes.
arms, and we will be focusing on the biceps, a bit of the shoulders, and the triceps.
All right.
So we'll be doing about 5 to 6 exercises, but we'll be on the floor.
Okay, and a lot of women I do notice, whenever they come to me as well, like, how do I get rid of this, like, flabbiness? Is this something that can help with this issue specifically?
100%. Yes, it does help to actually have a weight. But if you don't have weights, you can literally just use your own body weight.
Awesome. So no excuse, no gym equipment needed. Just get involved, get off the couch, and come join myself and Carly. All right,
Okay,
let's
so
take
we're
it
going
away.
to start with push-ups. So since
Okay.
it's Women's Day, so I'll be doing the advanced push-up and you'll be doing the beginner.
Okay, I like that.
So beginner is obviously just here,
Okay.
and then you'll be going down.
All right,
and
so
up.
pivoting from my knees,
Yes.
rest of the body's nice and
And making
straight
sure that
and
your
aligned.
chest is going to the floor.
Oh, can you hear my bones
Yes,
crackling there?
you
It's
should
still
have warmed up
early in the
first.
morning, guys. Make sure you warm up before you exercise so you don't get crackly bones. like
Perfect.
me.
And now what we're going to be doing is, next one, we will be doing shoulder taps.
Shoulder taps,
So you can
right.
still be in that position,
Okay.
and I'll be in this position. And all you're doing is this.
Oh, okay.
So you're working a little bit of the core as
Yeah.
well. And you're just tapping your shoulders. Easy. And you're feeling a little burn in the shoulders.
Feeling a bit of a burn in the shoulders over here,
Yes.
definitely. That's obviously because I'm imagining a lot of stabilization coming into
Yes,
play for
and
this
you need to
exercise.
focus.
But at the same time, I am still feeling my core having to
Yes.
work. Otherwise, I'm just going to like fall over, right?
Okay, so the next exercise is tricep dips. So this is, we are actually working the triceps now.
Right.
So basically, you'll be in this position,
Okay.
Okay.
Buttocks.
just here, and you'll be going down and up. Just make sure that you're not dropping down this area, but you're dropping down the shoulders. I mean,
Okay,
sorry,
I see
the
your glutes
biceps.
actually almost driving forward and down as opposed to straight down.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So you're just here, and you're going down using your own body weight,
Ooh, all right.
and down.
Okay, let's try this. So don't go straight down.
Yes.
Oh, okay, there we go.
you feel it?
Complete difference. So if I just drop my hips, I actually have no stimulation in the
Yes,
tricep
yes.
whatsoever. If I start moving my glute further forward and down, I can get good engagement of that
Yes.
tricep. I'm really feeling this
You
one.
can
That's that
actually feel it.
shoehorn behind
And
the
you need to
arms.
control it as well.
Yes.
You can actually
very,
feel
very good
that burn.
stimulation here. Especially also on the way up, getting that good concentration, that isometric hold. That really helps, eh?
Okay. So while we're here, we can do I call it a upside down plank. So basically, just here, holding it for 30 seconds or a minute.
Okay.
And you're just holding it here.
Right, and my fingers are pointing
Inwards.
forward, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You just hold
All right, not as easy as you make it look, I'm not gonna lie. Mzansi, if your arms are shaking now, that's probably a normal thing. She's just super strong. We brought the strongest woman we could find this week. Carly's it. So you
Yeah.
should be shaking, you should be struggling with this one. It shouldn't be as easy as she's making it look right
Yeah.
now. How long would you hold this for?
30 seconds or a minute. I feel like we've been holding it
Yeah, it
for...
feels like
quite
about 5 minutes, to be
yeah.
honest. Ugh.
So next one that you can do is just here, lifting up
Okay.
And back, you're also working the little bit of the abs and arms as well, because you're moving it inwards.
Well,
Just here.
And just getting up into this position, feeling those obliques working
Yes.
quite a bit, right?
And all you're doing is in
Tucking that arm in,
and out.
opening up.
And you're also feeling the shoulders burning a little bit.
I definitely
Yeah.
am feeling the shoulders burning.
And the abs.
If anybody at home are joining me right now, the burn is real. I'm with you on this one. Keep pushing, guys. We got this. Ooh, and then in terms of reps or time period, how we
So you'll be doing of each exercise actually like 10, 15, 20 reps.
Yeah.
Obviously depending on your fitness level. So I'm assuming you can do 20 reps of this.
Ooh, just about.
30. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's the 6 exercises that you can do just to improve your arms and just to get rid of that chili.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. And I know women all over love getting some tone, some definition, and getting rid of that flab on the arms. So, Carly, I can't thank you enough. We've earned this. I'm always out of breath when I'm done with your workouts. I don't know why. It means we've got a good session in. It means we earned ourselves some Fruits of the Forest cereal. You guys can too as well. But make sure you enjoy this full workout. Go for at least 3 sets, I'd say.
Yeah, 3 sets or 4 sets.
3 sets, 4 sets. You might end up looking as beautiful, as gorgeous, as strong as this. And of course, year for all of the women on Women's Day. Thank you very much, Carly. Beautiful stuff.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still live with Expresso as we celebrate phenomenal South African women, and we're going to do that right now. Now that the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games has officially concluded, the flame has been extinguished. We, of course, for us mere mortals, the memories of the Games may fade, but for many of the athletes who competed, this was the most memorable experience probably of their careers. 19-year-old gymnast Caitlin Roskrantz, now along with Naveen Daris, made history by becoming the first woman of color to participate in the sport for Team Mzansi at the Olympics. An unbelievable achievement in itself. Caitlin was undoubtedly living the dream in Tokyo and even bagged a personal best at the Games. And this morning she joins us via video call to chat about this global showpiece and breaking barriers for gymnasts in the country. And the smile is resplendent this morning. So good to be connecting with you. I've got to ask, I've got to say, first of all, just congratulations for becoming an Olympian in itself. How does that feel, knowing that you are representing your country on the biggest stage possible? Now that you're presumably starting to come down, how are you feeling?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to say thank you for having me. And then, yeah, it's amazing. I think, yeah, it's come down now from this extremely high that we were at the Olympics. But it's amazing, to know that I've achieved this dream of mine. That's been a dream my entire life. And, it's weird because now my entire life I've been chasing this dream, and now it's kind of behind me, and now I'm just like, on to the next thing. But I'm really happy and I'm proud of my, what I did and my experience and how it all went.
And we are equally as proud of you. I mean, you were living the dream in Tokyo, and it looked like you guys were having the most amazing time. Maybe for those of us, because I'm really interested in just the Olympic Village life itself. What is a normal day at the Olympics? What does that look like?
A normal day in the village. So yeah, we would wake up, and then first thing you do is you do your COVID test. So it's a little disgusting spit test in a little container. And then on your way to breakfast, you go drop it off in the morning. And then, yeah, you go to breakfast. It's a huge dining hall. I think everyone's kind of heard about it. Massive dining hall with so many food choices. And you get breakfast, and then you walk to the bus, at which this time it's maybe like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's already like 30, 35 degrees. It is so hot. And then, you go to the bus and on your way to training. And then, like, for us, we would have like a double session. So you would train all morning, come back, have lunch, go rest. Maybe you'll take a half an hour nap, and then back on the bus to train again, come back, we relax, we do like ice bath, recovery, and then to dinner, and then, in bed. I mean, we weren't really obviously allowed out of the village, so it was between like the athletes lounge and the dining hall areas and the shopping. That was quite a while to walk. So, I mean, you'd do that on a day that you didn't train.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they did that on purpose. Now, obviously, you got to perform alongside some of the best in the world. I think the most decorated American gymnast of all time, Simone Biles, very publicly took some time off and spoke about the importance of mental health at this particular global showpiece. And I'm glad she did what she did and had the amount of support that she did. As a young athlete yourself, how do you look after your holistic health? How do you handle the mental pressure in those moments? Because it really, I think in gymnastics especially, there is so much pressure on the individual. How do you wrap your head around that?
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of pressure experienced by gymnasts, and I can't even begin to imagine what Simone was feeling. I mean, we were feeling pressure as first time, gymnasts at the Olympics with not huge expectation, put on our shoulders. But like I said, I can't imagine what she had to go through. And it's a lot, there's a lot of expectation around, with gymnasts and what to expect. And I think it's a sport focused around perfection. And, if everything, I mean, from the judges judging you to be perfect, from you expecting that perfection on yourself, there's a lot of pressure put on us as gymnasts. And I'm really grateful for what Simone did and shed a light on mental health. And just I think her biggest message was to show that no gold medal, not even an Olympic one, is worth sacrificing your mental health. And I think it was an amazing lesson to be learned by the greatest in the world.
Just on that note, how cool is it as a young athlete, as young as you are? I know you're only just getting started, as much as this has been a lifelong journey and a mission for you. How cool is it to be able to share the floor with the likes of Simone, to be there competing with the best in the world? How much did that up your game?
Yeah, no, it's insane, I think, to be surrounded by, like, say, the best in the world, and to be surrounded by people like Simone Biles. And I mean, like, we were in a subdivision with Russia and China and Great Britain. I mean, Russia won the team medal. They ended up being the best in the world, and we trained alongside them. And it's hectic because, I mean, a part of you do feel I think, intimidation now and then, but we've also gotten used to it over the years, and instead used it to kind of fuel us and to inspire us rather. And yeah, it's really inspiring training alongside them, and I think super motivating to be able to come back from that and have learned so much.
Well, clearly you have taken the most out of the experience, and you are undoubtedly a shining light of where we are going as a nation in terms of what we can achieve. It's amazing to me that you're only getting going at your tender age. So thank you so much for putting in the amount of work that you clearly have just to get to the Games, and we cannot wait to see what you're going to do in the future. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
An absolute superstar, remember that name. And we'd like to thank South African gymnastics champion and Tokyo Olympian, Caitlin, for joining us via video call this morning. And we wish her every bit of success as she continues to smash through that glass ceiling to break down those barriers for the sport of gymnastics here in South Africa.
Oh, absolute powerhouse when it comes to women, and just in general, it's so good to see what women are doing and inspiring when it comes to sport as well, and so much of the best for the future when it comes to the gymnastics too. But talking about some sweet things, obviously not just sweet women on the show and not just gorgeous women on the show, but we also got sweet treats too. Now, if you're looking for a sweet treat to celebrate a special woman in your life, then you want to try this. It's a gorgeous Fruits of the Forest mini pavlova, and it's fancy to look at with all the fresh fruity flavors, and it's made by one of our leading ladies. Of course, it's Jenny Morris in the building.
Oh, darling,
how are we doing?
I'm glad that you're in the building.
I had a proper arm workout. I'm feeling pumped. I'm ready to get some good sugars, replenish the glycogen stores.
Absolutely.
What are we doing?
Well, darling, I'm going to pump those arms some more because you're going to whip that cream till it stands up.
Cream, and am I adding some of this
a little bit of icing sugar just to give it a slight little bit of sweetness.
You always naughty on Monday,
I know, absolutely.
Right.
And then here I have some meringue, which is so easy to make. And the only thing that can go wrong with meringue is you have to multitask. You have to whip while I talk.
Okay.
Stop being a boy. This is Women's Month.
As you
only
wish.
1 spoon at a time, okay? And you just go like this, and you just whip it in beautifully. And what we're looking for is, we want this to like stand up and have beautiful, glossy, soft peaks. But of course, I've made some up front because this is terribly noisy.
Yeah.
And a little bit of vanilla that goes into that as well, and a tiny little bit of salt. So I'm going to give this one last whack. As I say, I've made some.
Yeah.
Hit that, darling. Hit it.
I'm hitting it.
Like this.
Round 2 of the workout. Carly, what you got on this?
Okay, I'm going to make your life very easy because we've got our beautiful clover Fruits of the Forest, which is going to give us a bit of substance there.
Yeah.
So you pop those 2 gorgeous little meringue nests. Now, what you can do with this is you could either like take it with a spoon and just put blobs if you don't have a piping bag, and then you take your spoon like this and we just sort of hollow it out so that we've got somewhere to put our stuff.
And these are what you've made previously from that batch,
yes,
right?
and you can make them.
Is it possible to actually mess up the meringue?
Yes, you can. This is why I was saying 1 spoon at a time, because you need that sugar to dissolve. Very, very important. That's
so
the
if you
only
add it all
step.
at once, then it's kind of just going to
it'll just collapse.
Right.
So now, what you're going to do is you're going to put the tiniest little bit of cream in the bottom, just a little bit.
My cream?
No, your cream, because it's very watery.
Okay,
but it's fine. I will forgive you.
So the tiniest little bit of
Tiny bit in the bottom. Yes, that's good. We can always drown it afterwards. That's the part I like. And I'm going to come behind you with my gorgeous Fruits of the Forest. Now you can have as much of, or as little of this as you want to, and then you just take your berries.
Okay, I see what you did. We started with the cream, and then we used the Fruits of the Forest medley on top of that.
Exactly. Pass me that plate. I'm going to show you how we're going to be.
That was smart, because this has got some real fruit in it as well, right?
It's delicious.
It's got some good minerals.
Yes.
It's got a creaminess, a crunchiness.
Yes. It's divine.
10 vitamins in here as well. So
Exactly.
on top of all of that, well, not 10 vitamins, 36 vitamins if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And on top of that, it's a little bit of like a healthy treat too, right?
It's a very healthy treat.
Right, yeah.
And my Women's Day message to all the ladies out there, you know what I want to say to them?
Yes.
There's a special place in hell for ladies who do not do good things for other ladies. So you have to stick together and be nice.
She said it. You heard your first, all right? I love that.
Would you like to...
Is that it? Is it done?
That's it. It's
wow.
as easy as that.
Lemon meringue's normally like a huge task,
darling,
a whole process.
No.
As simple as that. What an easy way to celebrate, I was going to say Mother's Day.
Well, it's Mother's Day every day.
It should be Mother's Day every day. And it should also be Women's Day every day. And what reason more to celebrate than by cooking them up something absolutely
delicious.
Beautiful. Oh, look how it's
And the boys can do this for their women,
Yes,
very,
lads,
very
let's
easy.
step up in the kitchen today. I'm going to chow into this because I probably won't be able to talk afterwards, but Mzansi, expressoshow.com for this recipe, and you heard it first. Get your mothers, get all the women in your lives smiling after this. Let me show you the proof of the pudding here.
Let me save it. Good? Happy mouth.
Yes, I love women.
Fruits of the Forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the Forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Welcome back. Finally not starting with a sigh. Okay, I've had enough inspiration to really wake me up this morning. So impressed with chatting to Caitlin Rooskrantz, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing the most, a young woman with unbelievable potential. And I think as we celebrate Women's Day, that's very much my message of what I motivate myself to do, is to create that platform for the women, the generations to come, to be able to have that effect. And especially having a daughter, is what am I going to do to be able to create that platform? But we put it to you guys to find out what your message is for our incredible woman on Women's Day.
Yeah, we're starting off with Linda Tola. Says, good morning to all the beautiful women around the world. You are all beautiful, happy, and happy Women's Day. Stay as courageous and loving and giving as you are. I absolutely love that one. Jessie Samuel also comes through with a God bless our grandmothers, mothers, sisters, aunties, nieces, cousins abundantly, and may his spirit and anointing guide our woman through life. I absolutely love that.
And yeah, Natalie Reuters coming in. Good morning, all blesses Women's Month to all the phenomenal women. Remember, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. You are special and unique, and yes, you are loved. Be who God wants you to be. Woman, I love you all. I love the fact that women stepping up to show other women appreciation and love on what has to be, I suppose, a day that we celebrate every day this year, but just a moment in time now for us to celebrate what we owe the incredible women who have taken South Africa to where we are today.
Yeah, we're going to be sticking around with more of the celebration of our beautiful, courageous and inspiring women. But before we do, let's find out what's happening with the roundup in the news with Tubbs.
Thank you, team. It's just hit 7 o'clock here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We start off with national news. R5 billion worth of drugs hidden in a container storing truck parts have been seized in the Durban harbour, taking the total amount of cocaine seized since March to more than 4 tons. Hawks spokesperson Katlego Mohale said that the origin of these consignments was the port of Santos in Brazil. In July, 999 bricks of cocaine weighing 1,000 kilograms with a street value of some 500 million rand were seized. Mohale said that no arrests had been made yet, but investigations were in full swing. Meanwhile, award-winning struggle veteran and women's rights activist Sophie de Bruyn yesterday visited the graves of fellow activists and struggle veterans in Johannesburg with delegates from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. They paid tribute to Helen Joseph, Lillian Ngoyi, Rahima Musa and Albertina Sisulu as part of Women's Day celebrations today. De Bruyn said these women who revolted against the then-passed laws in 1956 must always be remembered for their sacrifices for women's liberation in South Africa. She praised women for their resilience and reminded them that the threats against them have multiplied. In international news, the Taliban have captured 3 regional capitals in Afghanistan as they continue to make sweeping territorial gains in the country. They seized control of the key northern city of Kunduz yesterday, as well as Sarapul and Pelokhan. This means 5 regional capitals have fallen to them since Friday, with Kunduz being the most important gain this year for them. Violence has escalated across Afghanistan since US and other international forces began withdrawing their troops from the country following 20 years of military operations. In Zimbabwe, the police are investigating the death of a 14-year-old girl during childbirth, an event that has sparked widespread outrage among citizens and rights activists. Memory Machaya died at a church shrine in the eastern region of Marange, and the case has exposed the exploitation of minors as she was reportedly forced to abandon school to marry. The United Nations has urged the government to recognize child marriage as a crime and end the practice. It said that it condemns strongly reports on the circumstances surrounding Memory's death. And next, inspiration for girls to study science done in a special manner. Now, recently, we reported on a standing ovation accorded Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert at Wimbledon as a scientist who helped create the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine currently being used in many countries worldwide. Now, Barbie has now created a doll in Gilbert's likeness, and this is in the hope of inspiring especially girls to choose a career in science. The Barbie Role Models program focuses on those who have made an impact in their communities and globally during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Gilbert said, "I hope that children will realize how vital careers in science are to help the world. My fervent wish is that my doll will show children careers that they may not be aware of. like a vaccinologist. Barbie is also donating to Gilbert's chosen organization, Women in Science and Engineering, for its outreach resource created to inspire girls to opt for a career in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How inspiring. Beautiful story. That's where we leave it for now. Here's a look at what's happening in sports with Graham.
Thanks so much, Toby. So let's start on a celebratory note. A match-winning penalty goal 2 minutes from time by Morné Steyn, sealing the Lions series win for the Springboks over the British and Irish Lions in a nail-biting fixture on Saturday. So the Boks wrapped up the series 2-1 after winning the third and final fixture 19-16 at the Cape Town Stadium. A 57th minute try by Cheslin Colby and successful kicks at goal by Andre Pollard, and then, of course, veteran Morné Steyn securing the series victory for South Africa. What a momentous one at that. The Springboks will be in action again this weekend. That's, of course, when the Rugby Championship kicks off. Then on the franchise level, 3 second-half tries in quick succession saw the Sharks record a 35-28 victory over the Bulls in the Currie Cup on Saturday. So that win now takes the KwaZulu Italians to the top of the table on 30 points. Now, the results from the weekend, the Lions beat the Northern Cape rivals. The Griquas 45-42 in Kimberley. Western Province staged a stunning second-half fight back to claim a crucial 40-39 win over the Cheetahs in Cape Town. That Currie Cup action will continue again on Wednesday. Then back onto international rugby. New Zealand extended their unbeaten run at Eden Park in Auckland to 45 tests after beating Australia 33-25 in their Bledisloe Cup opener. Fly-half Richie Mo'unga was a star on the night. He contributed 18 points from a 70-metre intercept try, along with 2 conversions and then 3 penalties to boot. The All Blacks can seal the Bledisloe Cup for a 19th successive year, with victory at the same venue next weekend, and this clash will also double up as their Rugby Championship opener. Then finally onto motorsport. Ducati Premax Jorge Martin claimed his maiden race win in a red-flagged Styrian Grand Prix in Spielberg yesterday. The race at the Red Bull Ring came to a halt after just 2 laps when the bikes of Spaniard Dani Pedrosa and Italian Lorenzo Savadori caught fire. The race restarted with Martin claiming his first win in the Premier class ahead of a Spanish compatriot and reigning champion Joan Mir and championship leader Fabio Quartararo. South Africa's Brad Binder finished just outside the podium positions in 4th place, and that was after starting 16th on the grid, so a great showing there. That's where we leave our sport for this hour. We'll touch on those headlines again in an hour or so. Right now, let's see what the weather has in store for us today.
Thank you very much, G-Man. A look at your weather. Now, thousands of homes, they've been damaged in Sudan after torrential rains caused heavy flooding, with many streets in the capital, Khartoum, deep in water. And heavy rains usually fall in Sudan from June to October, and the country faces severe flooding every year, wrecking properties, infrastructure, and crops. Now, the UN has said some 12,000 people in 8 out of the country's 18 states have been affected. Some 800 homes have reportedly been destroyed, and over 4,400 damaged. And in North Korea, more than 1,000 homes were damaged and some 5,000 people evacuated after flooding. State television reported on this story. Now, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said agricultural land had been severely damaged and the country was facing a tense food situation. He instructed the military to carry out relief work in affected areas. Heavy rain was still forecast until tomorrow. We wish them all the best there. Now, while we enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your part of South Africa, we do have some international viewers who tune in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the USA. Now, this morning we report on the weather from San Antonio, Texas, now the 7th largest city in the state. The area is subject to descending northern cold fronts in the winter, with cool to cold nights, typically seeing night lows at near freezing, and is warm and rainy in the spring and fall. Now, Marike van Skalkwyk in Stilbaai is fast becoming a regular contributor, and we love the shots that she's been capturing from Stilbaai. Just take a look at this. I mean, that's a beautiful, breathtaking view of the sky filled with hues of orange, red, and yellow cast over the ocean. It's beautiful. And then Rowena Klink from Zoar in the Klein Karoo sent in this photo of the sun rising over the hills in the distance, with this beautiful sky filled with patches of clouds over the area. I love it. The drama, subtle but beautiful. Now, please continue sharing your sunrise pictures with us on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. We do love to see how you start your day. And now we take a look at those temperatures across the country. Out in Polokwane, sunny times today, 8 is your low, reaching a high of 28, with Mbombela coming in at 13 and 37. If you're out in Pretoria today, the capital city, 10 is your low, reaching a high of 26, with Johannesburg at 7 and 24. Sunny times out in Mahikeng, 5 and 27, with Klerksdorp at 2 and 25. Kimberley, your temperatures are starting off at 0, hitting that maximum of 17 degrees. Bloemfontein, -2 and a high of 20, with 25% chance of rain out in Richards Bay, 14 peaking at 25. Pietermaritzburg, 9 is your low today, reaching a high of 26, with the warmest place to be in the country, Durban, coming in at 14 and 23. Mthatha, 1 and 21, with times of sun and clouds out in East London today, 10 peaking at 18 degrees. -3, that's your start in Craddock, 15 is your high, with Gqeberha at 71% chance of rain today, 8 is your low, reaching highs of 16. George, rainy times, 5 and 13, with the mother city, Cape Town, starting off at 6 and peaking at 15 degrees. Rainy times in Worcester, 1, that's your low, reaching a high of 12, with Sutherland at 4 and 8. And if you're out in Uppington, your low today is 3, reaching a high of 16 degrees. Well, no matter what it's looking like in your part of the country, be sure to make it a feel-good type of day and send in those sunrise pictures.
Yeah, we're making it a feel-good kind of day, and we're celebrating women all over, right, G? Now, this morning, we're celebrating a woman who is shattering glass ceilings. Now, get this. Our next guest did so by being the youngest PhD law graduate at the Northwest University's Faculty of Law since its merger in the year 2000. Now, at the age of only, get this, 25 years old, Dr. Nicoline Steyn, it's so good to connect with you. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, I'm great, thanks, and you?
Very good. Doctor, we are fine.
Yes,
Doctor. So, Doctor, my first question is, well, first of all, congratulations. I know this has come on the back of, I would imagine, a titanic effort and a huge amount of work and focus to get you there. You set this academic record back in 2020. How special was this achievement for you on a personal level?
Wow, I can barely put it into words. In 2020, it really just felt like a dream to actually submit my thesis within 2 years of registration, and that's at age 25. But when it actually happened, I was in disbelief. I remember my cousin was filming me during the submission, and he asked me how I felt, and I said, I just feel so happy. So yeah, I never thought I would even have the opportunity to obtain tertiary education, never mind a PhD. So yeah,
I can feel these sentiments of happiness literally coming through the screen. You're glowing with it. I can just sense the sense of almost relief and achievement. But again, well done. But just for everybody out there that maybe doesn't know, what does it actually mean, or what is the South African Research Chair, Cities, Law and Environmental Sustainability? What do they do exactly?
So yeah, the South African Research Chair in Cities, Law and Environmental Sustainability is actually part of the SARCHI initiative of the South African National Research Foundation, and it's co-funded by Nedbank. Now, this chair is actually one of a small number at universities across the country that's devoted to aspects of urban legal study, urban studies and urban development research. Now, CLES specifically explores the legal dimensions of urban sustainability in South Africa. So we have a really great research group, and it's headed by Professor Anel du Plessis from the Faculty of Law at the Northwest University. And the rest of the team comprises of postdoctoral fellows like myself, PhD, master's, and final year LLB students, all of whom conduct their research on aspects of the focus I just mentioned, including the legal dimensions of water services, water security, ecosystem services, corruption, energy security, and biodiversity. So yeah, we also partner with several other organizations like UN Habitat, the South African Local Government Association, South African Cities Network, and the like.
It's like a...
So basically, what you're saying is the most important work that anyone's really doing in the country at the moment.
Yes, this is...
If I'm just getting it in a nutshell.
Monday Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Avengers unite. And I love the fact that we have a brains trust like the one you've just described, now focused on this specifically. So what does this mean for you in terms of the trajectory of your career? Is this just another step forward in a steady climb? Has this leapt you forward? Where are you in terms of what you're wanting to achieve?
Well, currently, I'm actually a postdoctoral fellow at the chair, and it was a big privilege when Prof. Anel du Plessis offered me this opportunity to stay on at least another year, because I feel like everyone at the chair really became a family. So yeah, I'm currently continuing to hone my skills there. I'm engaging with current and new research, which I've also been presenting at international conferences. And yeah, it's really giving me the ability to produce research articles, which is absolutely essential for a career in academia. So it's having a really positive effect on my career. But I also think the PhD, the fellowship, my engagement at LES, it has had this incalculable and extremely positive effect on my career in academia and my research capabilities. So yeah, but in terms of where I want to be, I really want to establish myself as a prominent researcher in my field, focusing on the intersections of law and technology. And in doing so, I really, really hope that I will be a professor before the age of 30.
I have a feeling you're going to do it. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that you're going to achieve this like every other goal that you've set out for yourself. You're an exceptional human being. Thank you so much for focusing your might, your gravitas, if you will, on the academic side in this area, because, as I said earlier, this might just be the silver bullet for what the country needs at the moment. So thank you so much for applying yourself and just being so generally awesome on Women's Day. We really appreciate you painting this kind of picture.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to have spoken to you, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And happy Women's Day to everyone.
Yeah. Oh, what an inspiration.
How mundane do you feel right now, dude?
I need to do something more in my life.
Get it going.
Celebrating Women is going to continue on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's tissue oil and rich body care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso live here on S3 on this beautiful Monday morning. But it's not just a Monday morning, it's Women's Day.
Yes, celebrating, of course. Tums, we've had such incredible women on the show already. We're speaking about the gymnast, we've got the doctor here. We're looking forward to a former Miss SA. Can it get any better?
Well, the thing is, believe it or not, it actually does get even better because we've got musician, speaker, and worship leader Chrissy T, who writes her music on past experiences, present hopes, and future dreams with the intention of helping others overcome their challenges in their own lives.
Yeah, now she has also worked with the youth for over 10 years and aims to use her platform as an artist to invest, develop, and discipline young women. Oh, the music to everybody's ears right now. Now we get to know Chrissy T before she takes the floor to perform our special Women's Day edition of Gospel Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Chrissy T into the building.
Come on, Chrissy!
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sunshine. So good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to see you because your journey and your story is quite an incredible one. Let's talk about your musical journey. And I think that point where you really realized that music was the thing for you and what would be the tool that you used to sort of spread love and minister to people.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved singing and dancing and writing music, even from a very young age. I've always loved it. And I think for me, just thinking about whether there was even an opportunity to do that was a big deal. I mean, I grew up in Ghana and in England. And I think when you're a musician there are some opportunities, but you're not sure how far it will go. And I remember going to starting with an organization called the Message Trust. And I got training through them to do worship, to sing, to perform, all this kind of stuff. And when I finished the training, they said, "You want to stay and become a full-time musician?" I said, "Yes, please," because this has been my dream for a very long time. Yeah, so that's the journey in a nutshell.
But now, look, you mentioned Ghana, obviously. You mentioned UK, which already forms this beautiful dynamic, which I think makes you you.
Yeah.
But then you decided to relocate to South Africa, right? And bless us with your magic. What was the reason for that?
Well, again, young people. I love inspiring young people. I love investing in them. I love discipling young people. So that was the reason, one of the main reasons. So as I mentioned before, I worked for the Message Trust in the UK. And then I actually transferred to the Message Trust here in South Africa. And our heart is to develop young people. We call them urban heroes. So basically, the ones that used to be the problem in society are now the people that are solving the issues in their communities. So yeah, that's what I love. So
because people deserve second chances, and I think that's what you guys are tapping into.
Yes.
You are giving us a chance in life as well to experience your music. You've got this fantastic project that you have worked on, The Pursuit, which will come out on the 20th of August.
Yes.
It's all the excitement.
Yes.
Tell me about the inspiration behind this and what the message there is for everyone.
I think it's a mixture of different things, really. So all of the songs is a journey in my life, a journey of meeting people and experiencing their life. And I think the reason why I named it The Pursuit is because above all things, I believe that God is the one who pursues our hearts, with everything that he has. So the journeys that we go through, every experience that we have, God is just pursuing us. He's saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and I will give you that way forward. I will give you that step forward. So that's really the inspiration behind the Pursuit album.
Absolutely love that. Speaking of Pursuit, you've got, well, we put up 3 song choices for the rest of Mzansi to assist in that pursuit. Of course, what do you think did the best? Because I know all of them are like absolute magic. I think if you had a way, you just vote for them all. But what do you think really stood out this morning in the performance charts?
Can I leave it as a surprise?
You can, but we do have results. We are showing up on the screen.
Oh, there you go.
So you get
so you got Grateful at 43%, and then even though at 0%, I want to hear that one, so I'm going to go cast my vote. I mean, I don't know. Over Me is also coming through there at 10%, with Redeemer at 47%. Was a tight one between Redeemer and
Grateful.
Grateful.
Yeah.
You expected that or not?
I don't don't know, really. I think I have a lot of people that tell me, oh, I love Even Though, or I love Grateful, or I love this. So I didn't know it was going to be on the top. So this is actually quite cool. I love it. I love it.
She's a musician, a speaker, a worshipper, and amongst all else, just a beautiful soul. And she's not going anywhere. We've got 3 performances coming up. Of course, you heard it right here. It's Gospel Monday. It's our Women's Day special edition. And Mzansi, this is going to be a treat.
Thanks so much, team. Let's focus on sustainability, but I think a deeper drive and message at heart. Expresso has made unbelievably big strides towards equality for women in the coffee industry. And over the last 5 years, they've put initiatives in place to empower women, develop skills, and create equal opportunities. They've literally put their money where their mouth is. And since then, many women have not only become the best in the business, but also become role models. And one such expert and role model is Ethiopian agronomist Hun Datu.
ቡና ዳቦአችን ነው የሚል የቆየ አባባል አለ። በውስጤ ያለው ባለኝ በተሰጠኝ ቻንስና በተሰጠኝ አንድ እርምጃ እንኳን ባስካይዳቸው የሚለውን ነው። ስልጠናዬን ጨርሼ ወደ ስራ ሲገባ ሰዎችን ስለ ግብርና ምርጥ ተሞክሮ ማሳመንና ማስተማር አስቸጋሪ ነበረ። ነገር ግን ትምህርቱን ተግባራዊ ያደረጉ ውጤታማ ሆኗል። ጥሩ ጥራት፣ ጥሩ ኑሮ እንዲኖራቸው፣ ጥሩ ገቢ እንዲያገኛቸው አድርገዋል።
የቡና ምርት መሻሻል ለማህበረሰቡ እድገት ከፍተኛ አስተዋጽኦ እያደረጉ መብቃት ነው። ያው ያልኩት እውቀቷን ጨርሰው ነው የሰጠችው ለህዝቡ። ያከብረታል።
አሁን ማህበረሰቡ ያለበትን ደረጃ ሳይ ከፍተኛ ኩራት ይሰማኛል።
That's truly inspiring.
They keep asking the question, what else? And they keep answering that they will continue to work with individuals within communities. When we talk about sustainability, it's not only about being kinder to nature, it's about creating opportunities and a better future for everyone, and a great way to celebrate women. And I love the fact that these women have been identified as pillars within their community. I'm
It's
blown
empowering.
away. I'm going to make you a coffee because
while
I'm so
you're blown
blown
away, hopefully you can treat me to a nice cup of coffee as well. But that story of development and sustainability in that way really has been an enriching one. I think what we're able to see happening in those communities really is unbelievable. So thank you very much to Expresso for that. Ooh, it's ready.
Care is bringing passion to everything you do.
Proving good taste and good values go hand in hand.
Care is what goes into every single cup of Nespresso.
Made with care. Hecho con cuidado.
Nespresso. What else?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we will hopefully be continuing to inspire you this Women's Day. Now, we look up to those who seem like they have it all, but it takes many hard decisions, important lessons, and intense breakthroughs to reach true success. Thankfully, when these people love to share the secrets of their growth in achieving that billionaire mindset, we also gain key insights to reaching our own full potential.
And we had to call on power couple Rolene and Daniel Strauss with all of the stuff that they've got to learn along their journey. They'll soon be helping people who are seeking transformation in their lives with their 2-day breakthrough intensive seminar series. Now, everybody, a big warm Expresso welcome to Daniel and Rolene. Yes, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I felt like that was a long intro. I felt like that was like quite a thing. I started to get nervous about my own breakthrough and what are we going to do and how are we going to get there.
Questioning yourself.
It's so great to have you guys back. Thank you so much for joining us on Women's Day. So happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
You're not chopped liver today, but you're just a little bit less. Daniel, we still love you, man. We still love you.
Let's start here because I really do want to delve straight into it. Rolene, having just completed your studies in medicine, you weren't sure if you wanted to continue and really just get into that field or continue your work in the Miss World sort of space, but you had to find your purpose in that way. What was that experience and that journey like of tapping into your purpose?
What was your breakthrough moment?
So just after completing my medical degree in 2017 actually, the one word that I would use, my experience at that stage was stuck. I'm not sure if you've ever felt stuck, not knowing what way to go, what direction to go to. And the one thing that I realized was you don't necessarily have to know all of the steps. Sometimes it's necessary to know the right step to take right now. And only in 2019, after months and months of research and personal growth and commencing with my master's in philosophy and management coaching at the University of Stellenbosch Business School, did I have my breakthrough, did I find my life purpose? And that's why I'm so excited about the Breakthrough Intensive, because I know that a breakthrough is so important in your life, just knowing what's the next step to take and then finding your life purpose based on your values and what you want to achieve in life.
I think so many of us have gotten to that point over the last year where we've basically had a year and a half now of having a mirror right in front of us, and what is meaning to us, what is the purpose of our lives. So much has been stripped away as well, which kind of, I think a lot of the superfluous stuff is now out the window and people are starting to focus on what they really want, but you've got to get them there. Now, I understand you also had a tough place to be in where you've finished your degree, you've got your MBA, no one wants to hire you. How did you deal with that effect on your psyche, and what was the breakthrough moment for you, Daniel?
Yes, so I finished my studies at the end of 2007. So I started looking for a job at the beginning of 2008. Well, that was the biggest financial downturn probably in history. So it's very similar to what's happening now. Companies weren't hiring, they were retrenching. And then I was looking for a job, and I couldn't find a job. And so it was very difficult at that time, but I was very grateful to get to meet a very wise man from the East who took me under his wing, and I went and I attended a seminar in Southeast Asia. And that's actually where my breakthrough came.
Really?
I suddenly realized that despite all of the studies I had, despite my experience at the time, I actually knew nothing. I realized that South Africa was about 20 years behind the rest of the world when it comes to venture capital and early stage company building. And that's where I realized the power of a seminar to provide you with a breakthrough.
Just to fast forward that,
Well, you certainly did sort of pick up on, that sentiment of the importance of having people who share their knowledge in that way. Rolene, the two of you, with your notable experiences and achievements, have decided to join forces and really are going to be hosting this intensive seminar, this breakthrough intensive seminar. What sparked the idea? Where did it come about?
So the first thing that both of us believe in is that change can happen in an instant. We all feel like change takes a lot of time, but if you think about it, once you realize something, once you make a choice, once you make a decision, change actually happens in an instant.
It's a switch.
So we want to create that opportunity that we've been so grateful to have received through mentors, through studies, through personal growth. We have been so grateful to receive it, and we want to send the lift back down and make sure that we create an environment where it's possible for someone else to have a breakthrough at the Breakthrough Intensive Seminar and share all of the knowledge and wisdom. He is such a wise man. He's probably the wisest man I know. To share it with everyone at the seminar.
What is your hope that people, because obviously you could spend a lifetime kind of coaching a person through this process. What is your hope that they will leave with? What breakthrough moment will you hope that your those that are lucky enough to experience this will take away?
Yes, I think there's different areas in your life. So different people are ready for different breakthroughs in different areas of their lives. I think someone once said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So we will cover various areas during the Breakthrough Intensive, and then they say the luckiest or the most successful people don't create luck, they create an environment where the probability of luck is increased. So we just want to create an environment where the probability of a breakthrough is highly increased for the people attending.
Okay,
those that are on the verge, those are there, we'll just gently nudge them over. That's brilliant,
She wasn't lying when she said you're really wise. You are, you really are. So this is going to be a breakthrough of an intensive seminar to attend, and I think that the other nice thing about it, we get to see you guys in action. We get to just sit there and just watch you in awe and admiration. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
We love having you guys here, and the fact that you are driving this narrative is amazing. So continue doing that. And of course, we're going to continue chatting in just a moment, but you can catch the Breakthrough Intensive Seminar on, it's at the Landsrock Wine Estate in Stellenbosch, 24th, 25th of September. Tickets available from itickets.co.za. They also move up to Johannesburg then on the 22nd and 23rd of October, but we'll keep those details up and we'll continue this conversation in just a moment.
What an absolute power couple. Now, we're celebrating women, and it is Women's Month, so we thought, well, while we got a woman here and an inspirational one, we'll celebrate one of her special meals. Now, we're talking about a salmon fish cake, which are quite possibly the best ways in which to give leftover salmon or fish a second chance. And it's slightly crispy, it's packed with nutrients, they are absolutely tasty. It's made from fish as well, and they are a firm favorite of Rolene Strauss. And she's about to join us in the kitchen this morning to show us exactly how it's done. Rolene, I know you're being very busy this morning, but here you are with your Expresso apron. Welcome to the studio. We're going to break through with something special in the kitchen as well, right?
Perfect.
I was looking at your ingredients, though, and I must say I'm absolutely impressed. Prime, it looks clean, it looks healthy, there's a good macro balance here. I'm just keen to see how we're going to put this all together. And this is something that I believe is a favorite of yours as well, right?
It is one of my absolute favorites. I don't believe that healthy eating should be bland and tasteless.
Yes.
So this is one of my favorite recipes. It's from a detox plan from Revital.
Okay,
so let's get cooking.
So this is something that you probably incorporate into your entire system, right?
Yes, definitely.
I love this. And the benefits are not only a healthy body, but again, a healthy mind as well, I'd imagine, too.
Everything. The kids love it. My husband actually loves it.
Okay.
It freezes very nicely. So when I make it, I make large amounts and then I freeze it. And then whenever, you know, one of those days where it's been a long day, you don't feel like cooking, just take it out of the refrigerator, put it in the oven, and there you go.
All right, well, let's show Mzansi how it's done. I believe I'm going to be helping you with the salad, which shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
And you've got the tough stuff on that side there.
It's not even tough. You just pour everything in and mix it.
Okay, so let me go through this first. So I've got cucumber, I've got onion, lemon, tomato, and avo, and some beautiful spinach leaves by the look of it. So I'll chop this up and get the salad going, and you can take us through this beautiful mix over here.
Perfect.
All right?
So over here I have the quinoa. It's very nice. Instead of any starches, the quinoa is filled with protein.
Yes.
And yes, we have the quinoa, which
so
is the
good
base.
replacement for rice as well, for a low-carb option. I like that, a nice complete grain there.
Then I pour in the sweet potato, which gives it a beautiful sweetness.
And it's a nice low GI carb too, so a nice health conscious
And it also binds the fish cakes. So
oh, of course, yes, that's right. Because we're not using like a lot of flour here, I don't see.
Not at all, not at all.
We've got some natural binding ingredients.
Everything's
I love
natural.
it, I love it.
Then you can basically choose what fish you would like to use. Here we have some hake and some salmon.
Okay.
So whatever you have, you can use. Just everything, pour it together.
And I must just say, sorry, I'm like a half foon. So I'm like, inside, I'm screaming out and celebrating here because this meal really ticks all the boxes. And I have to mention this to Mzansi. Not only is there some good protein coming in from the fish as well, but you got your omegas, which is good, healthy fat. And that's going to help with the brain health too. Is that correct? Yes.
For those breakthroughs.
You're resonating out here.
So yes, you can put in some egg if you would like to. Sometimes I don't even put in egg, but the egg obviously burns it as well.
Yeah.
And then you can just mix along as you get it. My children love this because they put their hands in here and they just love all of the textures and everything.
That's quite cool, and I think a meal like this is really cool. I mean, look at the two of us working in the kitchen right now. You can get your whole family involved in this. It looks like a lot of fun. Working with colors, always interesting. And the fact that you get to educate while doing something positive, and that's food, diet. One of the biggest important things when it comes to fueling ourselves for purpose. And like you were mentioning earlier, when it comes to those breakthrough moments, this is a part of the system. This is a part of that process, right?
Definitely. The one thing that I've learned when it comes to parenting actually is that you can try as hard as you wish, but if you don't lead by example, then everything you say is going to go undone at some point. So
you can't be eating a McDonald's or some kind of a fast food burger that we normally use as a lovely treat or a good meal, and then you're telling them to eat salads only. I mean, come on, that doesn't work, right?
It doesn't work, no, it doesn't work.
I love that. So it's all about balance.
Definitely. And spending quality time together. You know, there's so many opportunities in life where you can spend quality time together and create values for your family. And cooking is one of those for me.
I love that. So this is not just a kitchen. This is where foundations are laid. This is where principles are put to the test. I like that.
Exactly. So what I'm putting in here, actually, before we go on, is some coconut flakes.
Okay.
Once again, gives that a bit of a crunch, depending on what texture you use, but also fresh taste to the fish cakes.
That is true, and I see you mentioning a lot about textures, and it's something I've come to learn in the kitchen, that it's not just about the taste. I always thought it was just the taste, but the textures are another component altogether, never mind the macro balance, which you've already ticked here. So this is one of the top meals that I've had in a very long time, I must say, Rolene. Stepping it up here in the kitchen on Expresso, you're setting the bar here, definitely.
I'm so glad. A little bit of lemon juice as well, always goes nice with fish. My husband likes squeezing the lemon on at the end, so always keeps some extra lemon for that.
Food stylist
yes.
moment. Voila.
Okay, I think we're almost ready.
While you're busy there, I don't know if I've been a very good host, but I think I've tried my best at making the salad. I don't know what you think, but do you approve or not?
I approve. Anything fresh and green is amazing. Yes. So another tip, if you don't like cooking the salmon in oil in a pan, what I always do, if I don't like cooking it, is take some muffin pans, just spray them or put some olive oil in there,
that's
put them
smart.
in, and then actually put them in the oven. You can continue with whatever you're doing. You don't have to be there all the time.
Like little
that
burger
works
patties.
perfectly as well.
Oh, well, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Rolene Strauss, our inspiration, and one of the beautiful women that we are celebrating for Women's Day this morning. It is a beautiful salmon and quinoa fish cake. Ticks all the health boxes. You can get it on expresso.com. The compliments of Rolene Strauss. And don't worry, she's not going anywhere. We're going to catch up with her a little bit later. See you in a bit.
Welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, live here on S3. We're back with power couple Rolene and Daniel Strauss. And between the two of them, in the last 3 years, they've started 3 of their own businesses. They've grown multiple existing businesses, written 3 books, spoken on platforms worldwide, all while raising 2 boys. I don't know how on earth they can do that sort of thing. We're picking their brains this morning so we can get a sense of just how they do it all.
So first of all, guys, when are you going to get your lazy butts into gear and actually do something with your lives? Because it's shocking, man. I mean, come on, we've all got a role to play. We've got a platform. All of this, I mean, could have been prefixed with "and have 2 young children." Boom, everything else suddenly becomes a secondary, and that's got to be probably one of the most life-affirming, life-changing, life-shaking experiences. Rolene, how do you manage that? How have you embraced having your 2 boys and dealing with everything that you've got going on with them at the kind of eye of the storm in the middle of all of that?
The one thing that I've learned from parenting and trying to juggle everything is the power of prioritization and how it's so important to know not only what your priorities are for the year or for the month, but actually on a daily basis, because they change on a daily basis. Yesterday, my priority was to fix the kids and make sure that they go to the grandparents, so that I actually left my shoes behind at home. I'm wearing one of your shoes here. I don't know whose it is.
Those are his, by the way. Yeah,
but we're the same size.
So knowing your priorities for that day, and the way I think of it is, like everything that you have to do, all of the roles that you play is almost like balls that you're juggling. And some of these balls are glass, some of these balls are rubber. So you have to know today what are the glass balls and what are the rubber balls. Which one can I actually drop that will bounce back and Daniel can catch it, or I'll catch it, and which ones are glass that might break if you drop it. So that's the one thing that I've learned.
I like that.
It seemingly takes a lot of collaboration between the 2 of you as partners. I mean, Daniel, Rolene was saying earlier on that you, in fact, motivated her to go and pursue her studies, her master's program. While you're busy doing your own thing and you've got, so much going on at the same time, how do you find it so possible to motivate and keep each other so lifted all the time?
I think one of the big things in our relationship is don't sweat the small stuff. That's actually a way of supporting someone, is not to worry about the small things. Let's focus on the bigger picture. And then also to give the other person unconditional positive regard. Always give them the benefit of the doubt, no matter what happens. And that's one of the ways in which I choose to support her. Yes, and then also with her writing a book. Recently, she has the same publisher as I have, NB Publishers. They were amazing. So I gave her all the tips and the tricks that I learned when I wrote mine.
Because you went through the pain.
Yeah. And being Rolene, she wrote a better book that is thicker.
Not a competition, buddy.
She's solid. She's literally a Wonder Woman in my eyes.
An overachiever at that, too. I love
it. We love it, but it does take a concerted effort, because I think people forget that it's a choice often. It's not just you waking up and just doing life. You've got to make those clear choices, and often it can be difficult when you're tired, you're exhausted, the kids are requiring a lot of your attention, that you can often forget about your partner and feel completely okay with that. And it's all right if you're going to do that today, but you clearly do motivate each other, and you do kind of come as a package deal. How do you get that right? What motivates you to motivate him?
I think we have a yearly scheduled planning session that really sets the tone for the year ahead. And what very few couples do is they plan their individual lives, but they also plan their lives as a couple. And one of the plans we had was the Breakthrough Intensive as a couple. But in this planning session, we sit together and I share with him what I want to achieve this year. He shares what he wants to achieve, and then we have complementary or shared goals. And then the most important part is to determine which of these goals are competing against one another and which are complementary to one another. And then how do we navigate around that? How am I going to support him? How's he going to support me? And that's basically the one thing that's really helped us.
You've got a whole system, and it sounds like it works like a well-oiled machine. It's Women's Day in South Africa, all right? So, Danielle, we know that we are all commemorating this day. Your wife is a remarkable woman, and I know that you certainly do, commemorate and celebrate and I suppose, speak to women like her on a daily basis. How are you going to be commemorating on this day?
Yeah, so just to give some context, I mean, two of the women in my life, my wife and my sister, they are probably some of the most successful, amazing women that I know. So that's my context when it comes to women.
To look far, yeah.
So even if people read my book, for instance, they would read that everywhere where I refer to entrepreneurs in a positive sense, I use the female pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be small, but that's one of the ways, in my view, to support women in general. We've made various investments in the last 18 months in our investment vehicle, and we looked back recently and we saw that most of them were actually either majority women-owned or co-founded by women.
Wow.
And that wasn't an intention when we started, it just happens. And that tells me that we really have an unconditional positive regard, and we see women as leaders that are capable, and I think even more capable than men in most cases. So I've got Wonder Woman in my team, and that's how I try to do.
And you just try to keep up. You just try to keep up, Eddie. No, Gary Player once gave me an amazing statistic. When he looks to invest with his foundation, they've found that if you invest in a woman, you get 50% more return on that investment, especially on a community-based level. So, you know, that's the mantle that you wear.
The sad thing is that that men believe in women, but we don't believe in ourselves.
Women don't believe in themselves.
And that's one of the topics that I'm going to address. So at the Breakthrough Intensive, obviously women, men, couples, anyone can come, but I'm going to focus on, you know, self-confidence, confidence, finding your life purpose and mindset. And Neil's all about the business and the career. But it's so important for us to believe in ourselves as well. We have the world believing in us, but it's time for us to believe in,
break down
what
that
we
final barrier. That's always lovely seeing you guys. You do set the bar a little bit high, but it's okay. We'll strive to get there. No, it's amazing to see what you're doing on so many different levels. Most importantly, keep supporting each other and supporting your beautiful family. We love having you here, and we're going to keep the details of this Breakthrough Seminar, Breakthrough Intensive Seminar on all of our social media platforms. We really do suggest you get to itickets.co.za right now. Get all the details on how you can get those tickets.
Yeah, all these amazing women in the studio. The bar's definitely been set, and we are keeping it there. Now, when musician, speaker, and worship leader Chrissy T was in awe of God's affection over our lives, she took the pen and paper and wrote the song Redeemer. Now, the song talks about being in awe of God's power as He knows us inside and out. Chrissy T, take it away.
So free and abounds for me. And it's all because of you that we are here. And it's all because of you that there's no fear, no more. Redeemer of my soul, come and have your way. Come and have your way. Extend your arm as a guide for me. And it's all because of you that we are here. And it's all because of you that there's no fear, no more. Redeemer of my soul, come and have your way. Come and have your way.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Camphor Cream, enriched with camphor and glycerine. Trusted to restore and repair dry skin. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are still live with Expresso as we continue to celebrate our phenomenal woman on this Women's Day. So whatever you are doing, I hope you feel special this morning. And we're going to continue delving into what we could and should be doing to build that narrative in just a moment. But right now, let's focus on Vodacom Red, and it's had a revamp, baby. They've taken it back to the drawing board and come out with an amazing new lifestyle and customer experience benefits. It really is a new dawn.
Really is a new dawn, and it's really cool. The revamp is awesome because it's aiming to give the freedom to choose what you want when it comes to your package. More data, more minutes, anything that suits your lifestyle, which is absolutely
it's bespoke,
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's best for the mobile. It meets all your technology needs, and it gives you more and more rewards while doing so too, G.
I love it. And you can find out more about those Vodacom Red packages if you tune into the Insider SA tonight, 5:30 p.m. on SABC3. We're going to be speaking to one of the best in the business. There she is, Sarah Langer. She is an unbelievable content creator, but she just understands the technology, but also how you need to support the technology supports your lifestyle and how those two blend seamlessly. And she's going to be talking about the Vodacom Red VIP package that she uses to manage her life that is very much on the go.
Yeah, and on top of that, obviously, because it is the celebration of Women's Month, Vodacom are also giving away culinary vouchers to the value of 1,000 Rand each to 9 special women. Gina, is that not exciting enough as well?
Absolutely brilliant. So to win, you've got to watch The Insider tonight, 5:30 p.m. You can go onto the Insider SA Facebook and Twitter pages to find out more. And you've got to tell us, what do you like most about the Vodacom Red packages? And we could be making you a winner, but you can find all the terms and conditions on theinsider.co.za. Experience Red and unlock more.
Thank you, team. It's just gone after 8 o'clock here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We start off with some national news. A film about the life and times of South African music legends Thandi Klassen, Dolly Rathebe, Dorothy Masuka and Sophie Mgcina will be screened in Canada today to commemorate Women's Day. Titled Legends of Madiba in their own words, it features Klassen, Rathebe, Masuka and Mgcina, who have all since passed away. Now, the film also features singer and actress Abigail Kubeka and Klassen's daughter Lorraine. The docu will be flighted by the Embassy Cultural House in Canada. Meanwhile, in South Africa, R500 million worth of drugs hidden in a container storing truck parts have been seized in the Durban harbour, taking the total amount of cocaine seized since March to more than 4 tons. Hawk spokesperson Katlego Mohale said the origin of these consignments was the port of Santos in Brazil, and in July, 999 bricks of cocaine weighing 1,000 kilograms with a street value of some 500 million rand were seized. Mohale said no arrests had been made yet, but investigations were in full swing. In international news, Rwandan and Mozambican troops have retaken a key port city from Islamist militants in northern Mozambique. The Rwandan military announced yesterday. Motimbwa, the Praia, was the rebels' last stronghold. It's located in the Cabo Delgado province, home to one of Africa's largest gas fields. The military said it was the last stronghold of the insurgents. Last month, Rwanda sent 1,000 soldiers to Mozambique to fight the militants. The Mozambican government was previously reluctant to accept foreign military help, but it now appears to realize it cannot win the fight alone. The Taliban have captured 3 regional capitals in Afghanistan as they continue to make sweeping territorial gains in the country. They seized control of the key northern city of Kunduz yesterday, as well as Sar, Epul and Taloqan. Now, this means 5 regional capitals have fallen to them since Friday, with Kunduz being the most important gain this year. Violence has escalated across Afghanistan since US and other international forces began withdrawing their troops from the country following 20 years of military operations. And next, plea that inmates be parolees be afforded a second chance. Inmates and parolees should be afforded a second chance to show that they are reformed and could contribute to building better communities. So, spokesperson, Deputy Minister Minister Nkosi Phakathile Hlolomisa after the Department of Correctional Services gifted 20 wheelchairs made by prisoners to learners at the Ikwezi Lokusa Special School in Mthatha on Friday. He said this was a clear demonstration of offenders showing remorse for their actions. The department initiates various community projects, especially at schools, by utilizing the skills of offenders. This includes cleaning of schools and public infrastructure, refurbishing of school desks, improving sporting infrastructure, and creating vegetable gardens at schools. Most of the skills which offenders apply in these projects are obtained through training in correctional centers and workshops. The department said it hoped that projects would eventually lead to the successful reintegration of inmates into society. And that's where we leave it for this morning. Here's a final look at what's happening on the fields. Here's Graham.
Thanks so much, Tubbsy. Let's start on a very celebratory note as we delve into rugby. Of course, a match-winning penalty goal 2 minutes from time, courtesy of the man who's done it yet again. Morné Steyn sealed the Lions series for the Springboks over the British and Irish Lions in what turned out to be a nail-biting fixture on Saturday. So the Boks wrapped up the series 2-1 after winning the third and final fixture 19-16 at the Cape Town Stadium. Turning points of note, a 57th minute try by Cheslin Colby, and then successful kick at goal by Andre Pollard, and then veteran Morné Steyn securing that momentous series victory for South Africa. Now the Springboks will turn their attention this weekend to the Rugby Championship kicking off. On a franchise level in rugby, 3 second-half tries in quick succession saw the Sharks record an impressive 35-28 victory over the then log leaders, the Bulls, in the Currie Cup action on Saturday. So the win takes the KwaZulu-Natalians to the top of the table on 30 points. Other results from the weekend: the Lions beat their Northern Cape rivals. The Griek was 45-42 in Kimberley, and then Western Province, they staged a stunning second-half fight back to claim a crucial 40-39 win over the Cheetahs in Cape Town. That Currie Cup action will continue again on Wednesday. Then back onto international rugby fields. New Zealand extended their unbeaten run at Eden Park in Auckland to 45 tests. That was after beating Australia 33-25 in their Bledisloe Cup opener. Fly-off Richie Mo'unga was all the difference starring on the night, contributing 18 points from a 70-metre intercept try, along with 2 conversions and then 3 penalties. The All Blacks can seal the Bledisloe Cup for a 19th successive year, with victory at the same venue next weekend. And that clash will also double up as the start of their Rugby Championship as well. Then finally, onto motorsport, plenty of drama there as well. Ducati Premax Jorge Martin claimed his maiden race win in a red-flagged Styrian Grand Prix in Spielberg yesterday. The race at the Red Bull Ring came to a halt after just 2 laps when the bikes of Spaniard Dani Pedrosa and Italian Lorenzo Savadori caught fire. The race then restarted, with Martin claiming his first win in the Premier class ahead of Spanish compatriot and reigning champion Joan Mir and championship leader Fabio Quartararo. South Africa's Brad Binder so close, he finished just outside of the podium positions in 4th place from 16th position on the grid, so an incredible outing there for him. But that's where we leave our sporting headlines on this Monday morning. Let's take one last look at the weather.
Thank you, Graham. Now we take a look at the weather, but first some weather-related news. The monstrous Dixie Fire in Northern California continued to grow overnight, making it the 2nd largest wildfire in the state's history, as thousands of people continue to flee advancing flames. Now it covers an area larger than Los Angeles and roughly the size of the Hawaiian island of Maui. The blaze incinerated much of the town of Greenville, destroying 370 homes and structures and threatening some 14,000 buildings in the northern Syria, Nevada. It had engulfed an area larger than the size of New York City. Meanwhile, in Greece, hundreds more people have been forced to flee their homes as firefighters continue struggling to contain huge, days-old wildfires. Tourists and some 2,000 locals were evacuated by boat from Evia, the country's 2nd largest island, yesterday. While the fire on Evia is the most severe, dozens of smaller blazes are raging around the country. And now, speaking of some pictures and images images that we've been getting while we do enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your part of South Africa. We do have some international viewers who tune in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the USA. And this morning we report on the weather from San Antonio, Texas, the 7th largest city in the state. Now the area is subject to descending northern cold fronts in the winter with cool to cold nights, typically seeing night lows at or near freezing, and is warm and rainy in the spring and fall. Now we kicked off the morning with Alan Rudnicki from Cape Town, who captured this fantastic view of Table Mountain. Look at it from Bloberg Beach. What a beautiful view of one of Cape Town's most distinctive sights. It's stunning. Gavin Pollock from Durban shared this red-hued image overlooking the city, and our viewers really, as we can see, are stepping up their photography game. Marike van Skalkwyk in Stilbaai is fast becoming a regular contributor, and we love the shots that she's been capturing and sending through from Stilbaai. Just take a look at this one. Breathtaking view of the sky filled with hues of orange, red, yellow cast over the ocean. Oh, it's beautiful. And last but not least, Rowena Klink from Zoar in the Klein Karoo sent in this photo of the sun rising over the hills in the distance with this beautiful sky filled with patches of clouds over the area. I love it. Now, we can't wait to see more of those beautiful photos that are captured by you, our viewers. We love showcasing them every single day at the start of the day. So please do continue sharing those on our Facebook page. And now we take a look at those temperatures across the country. 1% chance of rain for Polokwane, sunny times. Today, 8 is your low, reaching a high of 28. If you're out in Mbombela, sunny times, 13 and 37. With the capital city, Pretoria, 10, that's your low, reaching a maximum of 26. If you're out in Johannesburg, 7 is your low. You will peak at 24, with Mahikeng coming in at 5 and 27. Sunny times for Klerksdorp, 2, that's your low, reaching a high of 25. With Kimberley at 0, that's your start, cold, peaking at 17. Bloemfontein -2 and 20, with Richards Bay at 25% chance of rain, times of sun and clouds 14 and 25. Pietermaritzburg, 9 is your low, reaching a high of 26. If you are in Durban today, 14 and 23, those are your temps. Mthatha 1 and 21, with East London at 10 and 18. Cradock -3, that's your low, peaking at 15, with Gqeberha at 8 and 16. 84% chance of rain for George, 5 is your low, reaching a high of 13, with Cape Town, the mother city, at 6 and 15. Worcester 1 and 12. Sutherland 30% chance of rain over there, 4 and 8. Those are your temps, with Uppington starting off at 3, peaking at 16 degrees. And that's where we leave it for this morning. As far as your weather is concerned, please do continue to start our mornings off with those beautiful sunrise pictures.
Yes, you've seen it. We are still talking about the incredible women, and we've got one in the studio right now to talk about this next topic. Now, from the resilience and the courage of the suffrages to the more recent Me Too and hashtag Time's Up moments, sisterhood has been at the heart of the campaign for equal rights for women since the beginning. And today, we are commemorating a very historic moment in which we saw the sisterhood being used to secure equality.
Yeah, and we can track this narrative throughout history, but I think it is more important now than it ever has been. On this National Women's Day, we are asking, what is the importance of sisterhood in our society? A clinical psychologist and good sister to the show, Asha Dulab, is here to help us unpack this just a little bit, and we'd love to take any of your comments and questions. We might head over to our social media pages in just a moment. Asha, happy Women's Day. Thanks so much for giving up your day off to be here.
Your day.
To hopefully connect with your sisters. We love the idea of the notion of men supporting women through the toughest times, but ultimately there needs to be a sense of self-belief and support from women, which often isn't the case. Yeah. Why would women not support each other? What are the challenges facing the sisterhood?
So a woman that struggles with another woman is actually a woman that's struggling with herself. I think that women tend to maybe go about life cataloging women's gifts and talents, and they then go into a place or a mindset of lack of or scarcity, like I don't have enough, there's not enough to go around, and there is enough. And every woman has their own unique purpose, their own unique path, and they need to sort of embrace their uniqueness and see the uniqueness in other women as well, because there is enough. We don't have to come from a place of lack of in any way, but we are from a young age raised to try and keep the playing fields level.
Yeah.
And then we realize as young women going into adulthood that it's not always the case. And that's where the challenges come up. So we are in this a bit of a hamster wheel.
Well, maybe historically, if you can look at the reason behind this, why is it that we potentially see these situations where it's not necessarily an environment in the community that's nurturing the talent, but it seems to come across as more of a competition than anything else? Is there a reason for that being asserted? Is there a feeling or something initiating that? Or is it just something that's happened?
Yeah, I think it goes right back to little girls playing with each other, you know, with their Barbie dolls. And it's our education system. It also teaches competition. It's our beauty pageants. It's social media in today's time. So, but we are evolving from that. I think that we are, as women, moving away from just the stereotyped, you know, behaviors of women, because basically a lot of competition or comparison comes from women comparing women in their stereotypical gender roles. You know, how do you run your house? How do you raise your kids? How do you work? And those are gender-based gender roles that are just stereotyped. And it's important now as women that we reverse that stereotype thinking of judging women in that way, and really just honor women for our role in society and in the world. Because when we can support women, we're supporting a nation, we're supporting a world.
Completely, and we're more of a global village now than we ever have been before, and thankfully we are now more than ever casting a light on what women are doing, not just in South Africa, but globally, to change the course. And we're going to continue to talk about the importance of sisterhood in our society. Asha is going to stick around with us, so don't stray too far.
Nourish your skin with Ingrams for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingrams, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Asha is here. It's a Monday and we are talking relationships, and on this National Women's Day we are asking, what is the importance of sisterhood in our society? And we are back with our clinical psychologist and sister Asha Dulova to unpack this topic, and we'd love for you to weigh in if you've got any comments or questions. Obviously we have a Women's Day inspired platform on all of our social medias, so please get there and do that. Asha, thank you for continuing this conversation, and again, happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
And you look gorgeous. I have to just say at the start of all of this, and that's why you're my sister. But let's talk about sisterhood, Asha. Would you say that sisterhood, in the traditional sense that we understand it to be, still exists in modern day living, or is that dead?
I think it's really about what we women put out and seek. You know, if we are going to continue saying that we are not being supported by other women, that's what we are going to get. So if we can speak more from the narrative that there is support, that there is encouragement for each other, and we are honouring that, we're going to receive that more in our lives, because I think that we need to look to inspire each other. And when we seek that, naturally it will come back to us. I find that many women will even go onto social media, and what they look at will have an impact on themselves, on their own self-esteem, their self-confidence, because generally women feel insecure, and then we go into this comparative mode where we judge, and we compare, and we need to really just take a step back and think about what do we want to attract in our lives.
But also just be aware that social media, especially something like Instagram, where most of the, I would imagine, the pinnacle mommies live and exist, and the woman that presents to the world, that's one lens.
Yes,
that's
yes,
5% of reality that has been very much crafted. So don't go and self-judge after you've looked at any kind of social media platform. But it's one thing in sentiment, it's another thing in action. Why is it so important for women to uplift other women in what they do? Don't just talk about inspiring women, but create the job opportunity, give them the leg up. Why is it important for that upliftment to happen?
Because, you know, I think as women, we self-shrink ourselves, so we need to, it's about self-expansion. When we can expand and shine in our own light as women, we allow other women to shine in their light. And also we experience a great sense of joy when we are able to uplift and support another human being, whether it's a woman or a child or a man. And then they also experience, it's like a mirror effect that we have with each other when we transact with another woman. We need to build, as I said, women so that it expands to a universal nation where there's just a flow of compassion and empathy and understanding and acceptance for each other. So a great woman, you know, serves a family, serves a nation. It's the start and the root of protection, of nurturing, of resilience, of bravery, of courage, all the beautiful characteristics that women have.
Yeah, and I often think in business we need more of the feminine energy now, you know, especially in our own life cycle.
And what you're speaking about has become so necessary, especially in a society, what seems like a society that tries to diminish the power of women, right? It then becomes very, very important for women to band together in society, right?
Yes. I think, you know, so often a woman can look at other women and look at the labels or the kind of identity that a woman has. They're a wife, they're a CEO. But what about looking for the woman for who they are as a complete human being, because that's where they will be inspired. And we want women to feel inspired by another woman. But we get distracted by all the labels and not actually see who is this woman beyond all her labels that we put out there. Because there's so much more as that complete human being. Because as human beings, we are holy beings, we are sacred beings. And that is why we need to support each other.
I want to leave this with you as we take a quick break from the conversation. Is there a place for that feminine energy? You know, we certainly see it in business, women striving to achieve a certain level, but they have to act like a man to get there. What is the role of women in business in our society at the moment? We are continuing to talk about sisterhood at the moment, the importance of a sisterhood so that women can elevate other women, and we are celebrating South Africa's National Women's Day today. So if you are a woman, we thank you, and we are putting you on a pedestal every day, not just today, but we really are recognizing the efforts of South Africa's incredible women, not just at the highest political level, but on every level that have allowed this country to get to where we are. But stick around, we're going to continue this conversation with Asha in a moment.
Continuing a very good conversation now as we get back into it. And before we do, I thought I'd spruce up my look, especially for the activities happening today on Women's Day. Now, as the saying goes, a good fragrance is a powerful cocktail of memories and emotions. So if you want to be remembered or make a good first impression, then you want to invest in a fragrance that will light up any room that you walk into. Now, to ensure that I stand out today, I'm applying something special. It's the light blue Dolce & Gabbana fragrance, which is the beautiful one over here on my right-hand side. Now, it's a chilled citrus cocktail of refreshing mandarin. Oh, it smells so good. There's some frozen grapefruits in here too that give the top notes of a cool, elegant twist. Now, it's something that's definitely masculine too. It's got a blend of some of the good stuff, and it's something that I will leave a trail with wherever I go. Oh, it smells good indeed. I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling ready for the day, and you can too, Mzansi, and you can stand a chance and stand out of the crowd by investing in a good fragrance. And Woolies Rewards members, you also get a 10% off any of the Armani, Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana or DKNY fragrances, plus a further 5% off when you are paying with your Woolies card. Now, remember the offer stands until the 28th of August. You can shop at Woolies. It's available in-store, online, and on the app. And yeah, for me, I'm going to spend the rest of the day smelling absolutely good.
Woolworths brings you the beauty brands you love. From the icons you swear by to local favorites. From clean beauty to coveted fragrances. Your most loved beauty brands. Edited for you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are still with your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. It's Monday, so we're talking relationships. And on this National Women's Day, we're asking this question: what is the importance of sisterhood in our society today? And we're back with clinical psychologist Asha Dulab to unpack this topic. So do weigh in with your questions, your comments on our Facebook page. We do love hearing from you. That's Expresso Morning Show SABC3. Thanks for staying with us, Asha.
There was a lot of history, I don't want to say baggage, tied into this conversation, but it is. And it's stuff that we need to continually look at, especially now when we create a platform for the next generation of young women to feel empowered, whether it's on a political or an economical or even just on a personal level to be able to progress themselves. But as we reflect on the courage, I can't even wrap my head around what it would have taken the woman in 1956 to march on the Union buildings. How do we capture that spirit today? Is what we've seen with obviously horrendous acts of violence against women in this country, there's been this pushback, this knee-jerk reaction of seeing solidarity within women. How do we foster that? How do we get that without the terrible things happening to prompt it?
You know, when you speak about that, Graham, I think about the collective energy of that mass of women that came together. And, you know, a single woman has power, but women together have impact. So when we support and, you know, pick up on all of those characteristics of courage, of bravery, of those women that fought for liberation, for freedom, this is what we need to, you know, grasp at and expand on as we go through, you know, into the years with women and embrace each other, celebrate women for all that they are.
I'm looking at you here, and sorry, I'm judging you, looking at you, and I'm going to say it, because you obviously are really impressive at what you do.
Yes.
You are very confident, and you obviously have your own intellectual kind of might to rely on and to fall back on. Do you feel empowered?
Of course I do, yes.
Sorry, carry on, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think it's very important to be inspired by other women. So what is it that I do? I look and I seek out that inspiration from other women, and it naturally reflects back on me by you know, praising other women. Now is the time of celebrating, because everybody has their turn to come. You know, we all have our path, we all have our purpose, so celebrate each other.
Yeah.
Because your turn is coming, put it that way. But most often there's a saying that goes, you know, most of your fans are strangers rather than the people that are closest to you, and that speaks volumes. And a message should be the people that are closest to you should actually really, really see and value the individual that you are, the holistic being that you are.
But the bottom line is empowerment is important. And I think what we're taking away from this conversation is that empowerment is for all women. There isn't a very specific type of woman that must be empowered.
Yeah, on a socio-economic level, that's important.
Absolutely. But in terms of commemoration, like what we've got here now, why is it so important to make sure that every woman is involved and included in the conversation of equality and of empowerment?
it's not only women, but it's our men and it's our children that we need to involve in these conversations, because it's for the greater, bigger, universal state of the world, of our nation, just to have women that, because women are the source of creation. And with that, I mean, they bring in beautiful children into the world, and with more education, with more conversations like these, we can raise a whole and complete nation where there's much more compassion for each other, much more empathy, much more understanding, and of course much more celebration for not only the human beings that we are, but for the holy, sacred beings that we are.
And boy, doesn't the country need a bit of nurturing? The world need a bit of nurturing. For me, it's that balance of strength, that resolute strength and compassion. How you can be soft and hard at the same time to such a degree is an amazing thing. So we celebrate you and the work that you're doing, and thank you so much for giving up your Women's Day morning to be with us this morning. And hopefully you've gleaned something from that discussion this morning about empowering your sisters. Yes, we can believe in you as much as you want, but you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be there to drive your sisters forward. You owe it not to the sisters who have come before you, but to the girls that are coming next.
We're sticking to the empowerment right now, and this morning we are also very thankful, incredibly grateful, and unbelievably blessed to see a brand new day. Now, musician, speaker, and worship leader Chrissy T wrote her song Grateful during a time when she was facing many trials in life. And this time, instead of worrying and stressing, she practiced gratefulness, and she turned her focus to being grateful for the things she had instead of focusing on what she didn't have, and turned this into an inspiring gospel track. Now, here is Chrissy T with that track, Grateful. Take it away.
Oh, you started already? Okay.
Walking down the corridors of sorrow, trying to find a simple place to unknow. Crazy, messy thoughts trying to overtake. Where's the hope? Faithfully, one by one, I put each time. But two by two, I seem to pick it up again. Why won't this stop and hard let go? Please let go. He's always inside me, the strength to help me grow, and the joy that moves my soul. He's always beside me, reaching out to hold and never letting go. Seems like the path is not straight. Seems like everything's our way. The flesh is always trying to have its way, but it won't. Suddenly I see you through different eyes. Eyes full of love that never ever lets me go. Promise him to give me all I need. Yeah, he will. He's always inside me, the strength to help me grow, and the joy that moves my soul. He's always beside me, reaching out to hold and never letting go. I'm watching and waiting. You never let me down. You always bring me through. You're so faithful. I'm so grateful. I'm watching and waiting. You never let me down. my soul. He's always beside me, reaching out to hold and never letting go. He's always beside me, yeah. Lifting up your road and the joy that fills my soul. He's always beside me, yeah. Reaching out to hold and never letting go. Sing with me.
Chrissy T coming at us, celebrating women. We're celebrating this awesome talent. It's Gospel Monday. And don't go anywhere because we've got another performance coming at you a little bit later. Chrissy T in the building!
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast show. Expresso, open up to being inspired this morning. Zuleika Patel is an inspiring young woman who's been an active voice against discrimination for years. And now the social justice activist has penned a children's book titled My Curly Crowny Hair. Zuleika connects with us via video call this morning to share all about what this day means to her. Zuleika, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I've got to say, before we even start, I love the hair, I love the look, I love the energy, and I love what you have done here. It's so, so inspiring. And thank you for waking up so early in the morning. But listen, you've said you stand on a mountain built by the women who have come before you. How does that resonate with you, especially today being Women's Day?
How that resonates with me is, as I've said, I stand on a mountain built by the women who have walked before me and the women that fought before me. And for me now, in the 21st century, as a young African social justice and anti-racism activist, that then means that I have the responsibility, along with my generation, have the responsibility to ensure that the women that will walk after our generation stand on a mountain that is even higher than the one that we stand on, and see a vision much further than the one that we see, and a vision much clearer than the one that we see.
And your voice is powerful, Zuleika. Your voice is so important to young people. What are you saying in this book that you've now penned?
This book is simply an affirmation. It's a simple affirmation to the African identity, because growing up, I started reading at the age of 4. And when I was growing up, there were no books that represented my reality positively. And there was no books where I could look and see see representation, seeing African women being represented in the pages of literature, I was exposed to books that rather didn't reflect my reality. In books, I saw blonde and blue-eyed characters that went to Big Ben on a rainy day in London and drank apple juice, whereas then I was not seeing books that represented my reality as a girl child living in South Africa. And so I made it my mission that the day that I write a book, I'm going to dedicate it to children, and I'm going to bring representation forth to the table, and also be at the forefront of taking ownership of telling the African narrative, because I think that today in the world that we live in as African women, it's so critical that we are the voices of our own narrative, and we are the voices that shape and define our own narrative.
I love it.
I absolutely love that. And I must just say, especially the fact that a lot of the time, and especially in the show, we've been talking about this very issue, that there isn't much representation in our culture, books in young languages for kids as well. So instead of not having this reality, you then created your own.
Yeah.
And you created a beautiful reality, and you did something like this book, which already is a bestseller at bookstores. I mean, going from where you've come from to where it is now and establishing something that is a bestseller on its own, that must feel incredible. What is that feeling absolutely like for you?
It does feel incredible. I guess it feels almost like a dream, I guess, because it still feels like a dream to hold the book in my hands, because there were so many delays with COVID and the several on and off restrictions that we had in publishing the book. And so it still feels like a dream to look at the book. And it still feels like a dream that the entire book has already been published, launched, printed, it's compiled, because I always still think about the days where I was still writing, my manuscript was still going in and out of editing. I was still picking colors, what colors I wanted on the cover page. I was still trying to get in contact with the person that would deliver my foreword. I still think about those days a lot, and I guess it feels like a dream.
And now a dream that's certainly being lived out on a daily basis. I love seeing that book on the shelves, and I hope that the parents watching the show right now are inspired to go out there and really capture this story and capture the essence of what you're trying to say to all of us. Zuleika Patel, you are fantastic. Happy Women's Day. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She's such a legend.
I've said it 3 times. Fantastic.
Say it more, say it more. Look, she's walking tall and with pride in her coily, crowny hair. And that's Zuleika Patel, social justice activist, and now an author too.
So much like writing, cooking is a form of self-expression and a great way to celebrate this morning. So we're going to do that right now. Now, allow us to present the perfect recipe for the next time you need a hearty, warming dish for a weekend afternoon. Slow-cooked lamb shank with dombolo. Yes, they are just as delicious as they sound. Ah, chef.
This is emotional.
This is a cracker.
This is emotional eating.
This is special, man.
This is so comforting. It just makes you happy, makes you feel good. And it's like, you know, the biggest thing about lamb shanks is the fact that they take about 2 and a bit hours to cook. We're using the easy to cook Woolies lamb shanks.
They've done the leg work.
The leg work.
The tenderness is there. The flavour is there. This is a great way to kind of fast forward the process, but still get all of the payload at the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we know that Woolies, all their lamb is free range. We know this. And the gravy that comes in there, it's like ultra-rich, velvety rosemary and garlic flavour. So even if you don't do anything else with it, you got that amazing sauce in there already. Okay.
And it cries for something to dunk, like a dombolo. Just, you know.
Right,
or
okay.
a pap or something, you know.
So, super simple. Like, I mean, I'm trying to make this more complicated so I can seem like I'm really talented at this.
Something.
But, okay.
But you're chefing. You're just a glorified package opener and oven putter in.
I am. But that's the thing about this, because you can kind of, because you're not doing the hard work, but you still feel like you're doing the work.
You at least still feel like you're cooking.
You do. So even if you're not a really good cook, This makes you feel, this gives people confidence. That's what I love about the easy to cook range. People that feel like they're not that confident in the kitchen, actually when they present a roast, they kind of feel like, I did that. So you know the next time they're in the kitchen, they just feel a little more confident. Okay, cool. So we're gonna keep this packet of gravy aside because we're gonna use it later. And it's not like a little sachet of gravy. It's a proper amount of gravy, so we're going to use that.
Enough for the dunkage, enough to,
you need that.
really get the sauce going, yeah.
Take it out the bag first, okay? Put it back in its tin and it goes into the oven. Okay, boom. I'm not going to put it in the oven now, because we got one that's done already. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make an extra bit of a gravy to go with it. Okay. Super simple. Is it heat on? Yeah. Cool.
Beautiful.
Olive oil goes in, and while the pan's still cold, we're going to add our garlic. When you add garlic to a pan and the oil's really hot, it's like what happens with meat. You start sealing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
By doing it when it's cold, as the oil starts to heat up, it takes on the flavor of that garlic.
And then the oil then spreads that flavor around everything else.
You got it.
Perfect.
Right, to that, we're going to add a bit of salt. Because I don't like salt.
I've been thinking a lot of it. I think the last time we made a curry, you were quite explicit about the oil carrying the flavor through everything and why it's so important to cook. And now I think about that constantly, about how are you flavoring the oil, because the oil is going to carry that flavor throughout the rest of the dish.
Absolutely. That's why you can't get that intense flavor with curries if you don't have that oil in there. So, next thing, that's going to start cooking. So start doing this thing. It's already beginning to smell really delicious. I mean, garlic just frying on its own is just always
just
like
magic, man.
You know something's about to happen. To that, I'm going to add some tomatoes.
Cool.
And tomatoes are great because the umami in them, and then you still got the umami from the shank. It's going to be so
And
good.
it's a balance with a nice sweetness as well, which I like, which is, I think, essential for this kind of sauce with a lamb shank. You want that balance of umami and sweet, and you know, it needs a little bit of everything. If you want this recipe, you can find it on woolworths.co.za.
And we know that any tomato-based dish, also curries, they taste better the next day and the next day, which is really great about this dish. We never waste the goodness in there.
That becomes our decanter.
And you just get a bit of that tomato sauce in there.
Cool.
I love pepper with lamb. It's already, the lamb's got pepper on it already, but I want to amplify it even more. Are you like, people are shy when they do pepper, that, and then they walk away. No.
And also pepper and tomato for me. I mean, give me a tomato and pepper, and I'm fine. Like, I'll often have that just as a...
So I like keeping these tomatoes kind of whole. Just kind of break it up a little bit. So that's going to start doing its thing. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to start working on the dombolo. Okay. And these are so delicious and so simple.
What is a dombolo? Is it a dumpling?
It's a dumpling.
Is it a roll? Is it it's a dumpling, hey?
It's a dumpling. And mostly steamed. And what happens is, because of that amazing stock that you got there, it just takes up all that flavor.
Soak it up.
Okay, so you've got some dough that's already been proved and amazing. And
look at that.
That's impressive.
I just want to... It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to roll some balls for me.
Okay.
I'm not even going to tell you what size. I'm just going to see how you're feeling today.
I don't even know. This is like, and it's got some nice elasticity going there. Hey?
Well done. Okay, to mine, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of yeast to the flour, and then I'm going to prove it like you've got there. The most important thing about dombolo is you do need to knead.
Okay, you've got to give it some.
You've got to give it some love.
Some affection. Okay, there we go. There's a ball, and it's a.
Can I teach you something?
Yes.
If you want to get a perfectly round, smooth ball, you got to bring out your Tiger King. Okay. Show me your tiger claw. There we go. Pop your ball down on the table.
Okay.
So use a tiger claw, and then you just and just kind of keep the ball of dough.
Oh wow! Wow!
See
look at that. Hey, the tiger claw.
There you go. Okay, cool. Water goes in, and you give it a good knead. Everything's
perfect.
looking.
Look at that. I love that.
And when you become good.
When you become good, thanks, man.
You can use 2 hands.
When you progress, wax on, wax off.
Can you even? Okay, so basically, a simple dough. I'm going to fast forward a bit. Knead this together, bring it together as a dough. Get Graham Richards to come visit you at home. He will roll out your dombolo for you. It's Women's Day.
It really does. They're different sizes, but they look great.
Happy Women's Day. Graham Richards will come to your house and roll your dombolo out for you.
And I will do it with absolute pleasure.
Okay, so.
What am I doing with my dombolo?
You just hold it. You just hold it. Talk to them. Okay.
Love you, little guy. You're great. You're a little bit smaller, but you're destined for great things.
You're going to grow.
You're destined for great things.
You're going to grow up. So
okay, so now you're adding...
The gravy that we kept aside, that goes into our beautiful tomatoes that are cooking away. You could, like I said earlier, I'm keeping them chunky. You could break down the tomatoes if you want. Mix that in. I've got 1 lamb shank. that I cooked earlier. The other one's on display.
Okay.
That goes into the pan with all those juices that are remaining.
Oh.
That goes in as well, because that's where the flavor is.
Yeah, that's the gold, right?
That's the gold.
That's the absolute gold.
And then you get Graham Richards' beautiful dombolo, and you put them in the pot.
Okay. So now my guys.
Now, see, now he's perfecting it. Now he's like, no, these need to be.
Now I understand, and I can just pop them in, eh?
Pop them in and pop the lid on. What's going to happen is it's going to start steaming. It's going to start cooking. The balls are going to cook. They're going to rise. Ryle's in, like stalking because Ryle knows what's up. He knows it's going to be good. So,
Buddy, Ryle, come in here, have a little
look,
taste,
have a
man.
look.
You've earned the right this morning. I feel like you've worked hard,
Graham
you've done
son,
exercises.
Chef Clem's son. I couldn't resist. It looks so
Hey,
good. Oh.
there's layers of flavour in there, buddy.
I know there's only 2 dombolo in there now, but we'll make more. So there's enough for everyone.
Please, because I need to steal that and feed the rest of my family because they're going to love
Have a
me
little
after
taste
that
there, Bru.
food.
Put a dombolo and some lamb shank in a bowl and have a taste
Put
for
the
us,
proof in the
man.
pudding, yeah. Take a big
I'm
ball,
gonna make
yeah?
some more.
You go for it.
I just wanted to try. I've never tried this before, eh?
Okay, go.
This is
No,
the
that's
first for me,
amazing.
Yeah. So let's see what all the fuss is about. Get some sauce in there.
Graham's now on it. He's trying to perfect his rolling skills. Ryle's tasting the dombolo.
It's warm, it's soft, it's moist, there's flavor, there's love. Yes! This is a Women's Day meal like no other.
It is, absolutely.
My
And then, like I said,
dombolos are getting bigger and bigger. I'm just warning you, by the end of this, it's going to be like...
Quick tip, if your pan does run dry, add a bit of stock to it, but I don't think it will. It's looking really good.
And how long do you need for the dombolo to cook through?
Not even 10 minutes. You don't
Really?
want to overcook it. 10 minutes, once they go nice and big, they done. They done.
Perfect.
Absolutely. So South Africa, if you want Graham Richards to come to your house this morning to roll your dombolo, I mean, call us. I don't know what the number is. Just call us. Or Graham's cell phone number, 083. But honestly, this is such an easy dish to make. And the flavors, it's so satisfying. It's still cold. We're not saying goodbye to winter just yet. This one will just warm you like from the soul to your outside. You just feel good. You feel amazing.
It's a hug from the inside out. If you missed any of the steps, take a look at this.
Ultimate accessory, the latest shiny thing, mesmerized. Trying to keep up, but never getting ahead in an endless cycle of spending. In this world of constant upgrades, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, almost the end of the show. It really has been fantastic. So thank you so much to all of our guests and all of you who have connected on social media. Best part, we get to do it all over again tomorrow. And you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. We've got a front row seat to Riles. It looks like the most awesome weekend down in Durbs, where he was lucky enough to enjoy warm, sunny weather, as one does every day in Durbs, explore the endless coastlines, and even got to swim with sharks at the magnificent Ushaka Marine World.
What better place than Durban, right? Catch it all tomorrow here on Expresso. But if you are like us and you can't wait, here's a sneak peek.
Durban is honestly like my second home. It's such a favorite place of mine, and it doesn't matter if you're an extreme adventure holiday maker like myself or just someone that wants to have a leisurely stroll down in Durban. It doesn't matter what it is. There's so much on offer, and I need to spend more time here.
I mean,
Tough luck,
that's just a teaser. Just a teaser.
Literally a few seconds of his adventure. You can tune in tomorrow for that. But right now, we've got a few moments left to savor, and let's do it with praise.
Yeah, we're savoring indeed with our special guest in the studio. It's Chrissy T coming at you with the latest from our Gospel Monday performances this morning. And what a morning it's been. Now, we're talking about fathers who are not everywhere their children are, but God is with them everywhere they go and places his hand of blessing over all of us always. Now, this is what Chrissy T's track Over Me talks about, and the musician, speaker, and worship leader describes God's hand over us as a sign of his blessings in her inspirational track. Now, here she is with Over Me. Take it away.
A sign of your blessing, to place your hand over me as a sign of your blessing, a sign of your blessing. I am raised up with you. Times, I remember he who calls has it all in hand. And on my knees I go again, as you choose to give me plans. Oh, you righteous, righteous one in the midst of darkest times. I remember he who calls has it all in hand. On sign of your blessing. You place your hand over me as a sign of your blessing. The sign of your blessing. You place your hand over me as a sign of your blessing. The sign of your blessing. You place your hand over me as a sign of your blessing. The sign of your blessing. You place your hand over me as a sign of your blessing. The sign of your blessing.
We love you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Adios.
Adventurous recipes to put the spring back in your step.